Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Pat Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! Here he goes. There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at No Splash Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Can. Kenny Can wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make it right? Can Res Mom make it right to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Can, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97 home. That is great. Here comes Jason Meyer, the other auto custodian. Billy Friedrich, Jones one, they're all coming down the finish.
Coin! Fired! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
From the Corker Peter Low Shack, legendary sports handicapper, more dapper than a dawn. Father young phenom, known as Jimmy, who declared one day that the bag was here to stay. Information like a PSA, when we all PSR, Pub Sports Radio, bizarre. Is a man named Slaughter and he flipped the script. No competition in this they quit the trip. But we say we be pubbing, better with the bag and you love it. We want it top 10, we above it. Let's check.
What's up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Good God, I'm inspired today, baby. Yesterday was glorious. It's glorious. The 10 bets I made in college basketball after the show, 8-2, should have been 9-1. I lost to Louisiana first half plus 8.5. That's 16.5 point dog that wins outright. I don't cash the first half by a half point. Just an anomaly. Just nuts. And my first bet, Delaware -2.5 cashed. Or lost, excuse me. Lost. Everything else cashed. Radford -3, blowout winner. Vermont +2. Shout out to Spoondog on his play today there. Kennesaw State -4. Lipscomb. Now, I'm trying not to double up too much. On action. But good God, I wish I did. So I only made first half bets on Lipscomb -4, Maryland -6.5, Santa Clara -6.5. That would have been 6-0 if I had doubled up, but just took the first half's 3-0 there. Idaho State -1 casher. CSUN. Good God. CSUN going into UC Irvine winning outright. Cash. And then my mistake was I added Jacksonville State -6. I wouldn't be so mad at it, except that it was Albany. I was going to add 2, and then I cut Albany and used Jacksonville State. So 8-3, which I needed. Look, you guys have been watching me struggle the last few weeks in college basketball. We got to heat up. It's college basketball season. We got to heat up. NBA 2-1. I wish I had joined some of you guys on the Spurs with the angle of them stepping up in the first game after hearing the Wemby news, but I stayed off the Clippers. So I imagine if I had to bet the Clippers, I would have bet the Spurs, and then I would have lost a little bit of vig there. So, and then, good God, Team Canada got in live at +175. That's just as good as hockey will get. Absolutely spectacular. A shout out to the American team. Shout out to Brady Tkachuk. And the Tkachuk brothers. I told you guys yesterday on the show, as you know, I forget who was talking about taking Matthew Tkachuk to score. I was like, watch out, because I bet you he has a few good shifts and then tweaks that lower body injury. Not having Matthew Tkachuk, not having Charlie McAvoy, the Canadians had an advantage. When it's a best on best situation and everybody's healthy, I think the Americans might be a taint hair more skilled, and you can't say they don't want it as much as the Canadians, because the Americans want it. It's shaping up for a magic Olympics. We cashed the +165. I know a lot of you guys cashed overtime. Also, Bobano gave out the first period over 1.5. Everything we talked about cashed also, and I implore you guys to hammer this here in this stretch drive. The score was 2-2 after 2 periods in an extremely important game. So what do? You take the under 6.5. You do that in all divisional battles as well in the playoffs. Leading up to the playoffs. For next, anytime it's a divisional game, the teams need the points desperately. It's 2-2 going into the third period. Again, divisional game. You live bet the under 6.5. There will be no angle, at least for me. There's no angle that's cashed more than that. Live betting in my life. No angle. Divisional game. Teams need the points. 2-2 after 2. Take the under 6.5. It's so often going to be 2-2 going in the third period. The other, very possible outcome is one team does score and then they score the empty netter. The least plausible scenario in all of this is the one team scores to make it 3-2 and the other team scores with an empty net to make it 3-3. Just trust me on that one. Good God, am I pumped up, man? We've been investing a lot of money in making big bets this week. Well, not individual big bets, but volume. And we're here to fight on. And we're going to keep fighting on. I've made 6 bets already today. We got Spooner joining us for college basketball. We have Wine Time Sports joining us for NBA. So yesterday was crucial for me. Look, as crucial as can be. We go 8-3 plus 4.78 units in college basketball. We go 2-1 plus 0.94 units in NBA. We go 1-0 plus 1.65 units in hockey. Wine Time Sports got off to a tough start here as he began the NBA season with us. In the last 4 shows, this man is absolutely dominating. In his last 4 shows, and I had this up on X here. Let me get it because I shut it down here for a second. 4 straight winning shows for Wine Time. The last show was the finest performance we've had from a guest this season. He went 9-1 plus 7.9 units. Now, that wasn't last Friday because of the All-Star break. That was last Wednesday. That was 9 days ago. So Wine Time in his last 4 shows in his last 4 shows, Wine Time's gone 21-8 here with us, plus 14.84 units, 4 straight winning shows. There's never been a more important time to win than right now. Right now. Today. Baseball season's coming up. There's never been a more important baseball season in our entire careers than this one right here. Every single day is the most important day of our gambling career. We must keep winning. We must build our bankroll. We must increase our unit size over time. All these things go hand in hand, and it happens with us working together. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. JW says, I take everything back I ever said about Binnington. I don't know where that came from. Look, that was absolutely... Look, I mean, that was just... he just went back to where he was 6 years ago in Game 7. I mean, it was spectacular. A Viper off a 2-0 day. He's on Memphis minus 3.5, Miami minus 2.5. I've moved on 2 spots in NBA. Those aren't them. Although I correlate with you on the Memphis. I thought about backing Memphis. I thought about it. Instead, what I did was I took John Morant over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You guys know I'm desperately trying to leave player props out. I also feel like I have a pretty good read on Ja. I mean, that he's a bit of an enigma as a character, but he was terrible last night. Terrible. 5 turnovers, 12 points. Generally, when he is terrible, he crushes the next game. Dave Redling had Canada 3-2 exact score, but it was for regulation. Oh, Dave. Oh, God, Dave. That stinks, but phenomenal still, Cap. There's Turnsey in the house. Says, expect Hellebuck to play out of his mind the rest of the season after being up by Binnington. I hear that. We got action here. Look at Justin McKelvey, Cornell and Villanova. I'm with you on Cornell, but I only took the first half. I took the first half plus 5.5. I didn't want to double up. And I don't think this is helpful, trying not to double up on these games and only betting the first half. We saw it with the Raging Cajuns yesterday. But I did take the first half. Turnsey says he will be fading the Bruins tomorrow, Anaheim money line. It's a great angle for Turnsey here. The Ducks were in Boston. I mean, I don't know if you saw Killorn being interviewed, but they were a lot of them were at the game here. And then Turnsey says, looking to fade teams, the guys returning from the Four Nations on Saturday games this weekend. I don't know if I want to do that because it inspires the boys. It inspires the squad. Winning, the teams that won, I should say that, winning is contagious. That's why, when I was growing up, or especially when I was in film and TV heavy, I wanted my friend, you want your friends to be successful. You want everybody around you to be successful. Being jealous of your friends finding success, winners create more winners. You need your friends to win. You need your colleagues to win. You guys win as a group. We win as a group. So I think that the winners walking into their respective dressing rooms will be inspiring to the squad. Now, I don't know what to do with Saturday right now. Turnsey, I don't know what to do. I've been looking at that card. There were spots that I was going to attack, and I was like, God, I really want to be as patient and thoughtful as possible with that card. In saying that, I usually struggle going into the All-Star break, and I had a really strong last 3 days going to All-Star break. So we'll see how that works out. God, I tell you this, I'm so fucking inspired. I want this for us so badly. I want us to succeed so badly. We're a month away from Pubapalooza. Our bankrolls are paramount. When our bankrolls are healthy, our life is healthy. You know how they say, happy wife, happy life. It's happy bankroll, happy life. When your bankroll is healthy, you can make your wife happy, make your family happy. Got to figure out a rhyme for that shit. Shout out to Sir Mackey, loves pie in the house. Dom Play in the house. Dono to bless our action. Dom Play, I love it. Turnsey said killed a bottle of Wayne Gretzky's finest wine last night. I gave a bottle of Gretzky's finest wine to my pops. One of his Christmas gifts. Great to see all you guys. Gerald Jones in the house says, who won the race yesterday? God, I remember. Don't I remember? God, Jose, who won the race yesterday? Why? Sorry, Trill OG play day. Rockets first half -2. From our guy LJ. LJ had a monster day with us the last time he rocked with us as well. I can't wait to get into that NBA card. Our NBA capping is being elite. We need our college basketball capping to follow suit. And I believe we have just the man for the job here with Morgan Spooner. The enormous depth of information from this man. Sorry, Nasty Nate. Kelly McInnes in the house. We got J-Dub, Serious Business, Slow Jams, Arsenal, Justin McKelvey shutting out Sammy Culmer on the draw. That was a thing of beauty. Zoe Faye. Zoe, should I be, I was thinking last night, I love capping with you. Should I not be adding the E? Is it Zoe? Are you like Alonzo Mourning? I thought by adding the E, you wanted us to hit the E. Can you let me know? Because that would be annoying if a capper that you're working with every day is saying your name, mispronouncing it. Action Jackson here says, at least the Lakers cover to save the night. Money moves picks. T-Maw says, Queens, North Carolina, Campbell let me down. Great to see all of you guys. We got money moves picks on the first half under 72.5 in Michigan State. We got to get to work. I'm just so pumped up. Just so goddamn pumped up. I'm so inspired. You know those capping days when you wake up like this, ready to fucking go. Wager Detective in the house. We got Dougie Wise, free bands play today. Grizzlies -2.5. Let's get that copied and pasted. Get this right under. But we got to go. We have a finite amount of time with our Morgan Spooner. We need to use him as much as possible here. JR says, what's your rule when a team is up 3-1? I don't have one, JR. I got nothing for that. I mean, that's dangerous. That's so dangerous, man. With the empty netters, the early empty netters. I got nothing for 3-1, JR. J-Dub says, Bobano, the first period over King. There's Crystal Craig in the house. Ronnie Lofton ready to get to work. Nate Dogg 420. Yeah, and you guys remember you asked me at the very end, Nasty Nate asked me, I think it was Nasty Nate, asked me player props for the gold medal game. I gave you 2. McKinnon goal, McDavid goal. McKinnon open scoring, David close scoring. No, I didn't bet it. Big Scott in the house. Dougie Wise, great to see all you guys. Nut Flush Allen says, I don't think we bet NHL games that had players in tournament with players not being in the lineup for the teams. Yeah, I'm very nervous about it. Shout out to Team Loss now being a PSR Gold member for 4 months. Justin McKelvey with Cornell plus 390 in his pocket. Let's get that cash. Osby ready to go. Kong's Clips in the house. Sweaty Butcher ready to go. Great to see all of you guys here. Wager Detective shouting out a super true story. Rogue Energy, Crypt Key, Skunk Blaster on some great calls yesterday. Let's get to work right now. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm pumped up. I can't wait to cap this NCAA card with our special guest here. Please welcome. I hope you guys are following him on X. I'm loving the text messages that I receive from your next guest. He put on a lucky jersey last night for our glorious Vermont casher. Put on the Copperrath jersey from 20 years ago. Just this guy's a lot of fun to cap with. Now let's go out there and do what we need to do, and let's get that motherfucking money. Please welcome our friend, Mr. Morgan Spooner, to the show. Spoon Dog, what's happening? I'm pumped up, Spooner. I'm pumped up, man.
Let's fucking go, Jimmy. Let's win some money today. I had a great night last night. It was great watching the Catamounts get a big win at home. My son fell asleep watching the game with me. I had the Coppenrath jersey on. 20 years ago, they upset Syracuse in the tournament. One of these years, they're going to get another big win. Probably not this year, but hey, I'll take it.
I cannot wait to
shout
attack.
out Barry Smith yesterday in the chat. He was asking me for all sorts of dogs, and I told him the 2 that I was on. He's like, what else you got? I was like, well, I only bet 2 things, so I don't really want to give out anything else. And I was looking at it, and Bellarmine had just been like circling my mind all day. I was like, they don't have anything to play for. I think they got a shot. The other team's dealing with some injuries. They've already got everything locked up. And I put I sprinkled some money on Bellarmine money line yesterday, and they came through. So I wouldn't have done that without you, Barry. So thank you.
It's great. That's great stuff. We really are a community and a group, and you get inspiration from different cappers. I have different cappers in my thoughts all the time, depending on the game, depending on the angle. We need to go get that money right now, Spooner. I've made 4 bets on today's card already. What are you at? How many have you made?
So I stopped myself. I was getting ready to in the middle of the night place all my wagers, and I just stopped and I thought back to Wednesday's show, and I went through everything, and I got to some spots that I think I would have hit had I approached the card differently. So I actually didn't make a wager. I got 6 spots circled that I'm ready to move on. If we don't talk myself off of them, I plan on moving them all 6. We're going to start the card with one of them here with Toledo.
I love it. I love it. Super true story. I wish I doubled up on a couple of those smash and grabs, but it's Zoe. Okay. But your best friends do call you Zoe. Okay, dope. Dope. Okay. That makes me feel better. I had this fear yesterday when I was like, you know what? Am I adding the Y to it for no reason? Okay, Zoe, my man. Let's get to work here. And North Ender says the spoon is the truth. PSR needs to lock him on a multi-year super max, says our guy right there. Great to see everybody. Mr. Belvedere ready to rock. Billy Friedrich has come in with his pig milk play of the day. Billy, we've missed you and missed capping with you. A man bear pig in the house. Let's get this spot here for a man bear pig, because I'm on the other side of it. That scares the shit out of me, but it is what it is. I am on the good old Quakers, but we'll get to that here shortly. Spooner, how long do we have you for, just so I can set up the speed that we need to attack?
I got to get out of here at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Okay, let's roll. We start at 6 p.m. Eastern with a bowling. A few minutes before 1, or can I keep you right to 1?
You can keep me till 1.
Beautiful. Bowling Green Falcons 10-16, 4-9 in the MAAC at Toledo Rockets 16-10, 9-4 in the MAAC Red Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio. Let's get the line history and cash flow up. The cash information is coming in slowly. It's coming in. We have it for almost all of the early games. Let's roll into this. Toledo right now -7.5. Oh no, we're back at 8. Okay, it opened at 8, went down to 7.5, and then 23 minutes ago it moved back to 8. Let me refresh this so I get all the. So we're back from where we started. No movement now on the spread. Bowling Green screwed me. I had them +6. They lost their last game by 7. We'll go over that. From a total perspective here, we have a 155 -111 to the over. This opened up at 158, so we had a major drop, 3 points. Very quickly, just on your thought process, we know that we always think clear in the morning. I think it's a really good move to not force things sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning, get some rest, and then look at it with fresh eyes. So I think that makes sense. 73% of tickets and 83% cash on the Toledo Rockets. 59-61 on the over, despite this dropping. Shout out to our guy Gorky in the house. Lucky Power ready to get to work. Great to see you. And Sammy Calmer. Look at that. After cashing overtime, after celebrating his birthday, blessing our action with a $27.99 dono right above Gorky, and Gorky blessing our action every day. Gorky, it means a ton to us. What a great group we have here. Thank you, Gorky, and thank you, Sammy Calmer, my man. Thank you very much. Attorney says we're going back to the well with Bowling Green after losing that hook. Wager Texas says both teams this year looking like Bowling Green +8, so it's history between these two teams. There's how they're playing home and away this year and recent. Bowling Green comes off its second loss in 3 games, 91-84 at home versus Kent State on Tuesday as 6-point dogs. Toledo snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 67-66 win at home over Ball State on Tuesday, 7.5-point favorites. These teams faced each other in an 84-71 Toledo win at Bowling Green back on January 24th. Toledo was 2.5-point road favorites. So is 8 too many points with the change of venue to Savage Arena? Take it away, Spooner. Our first game of 20 on the board.
Well, that was a big red flag for me when I see the line movement change that much between a home and away venue, and it makes me think the books know something now that they didn't know back then. And if you look back to last year, Bowling Green took a game from Toledo at home. And this is a regional matchup. They're really close to each other. Coach K is much better coach. He's owned this rivalry here for a little bit. And I think losing that game last year has kind of struck the siren. He was ready for him the first game. They handled Bowling Green on the road. I think that was a pretty well-attended game, and the atmosphere was good. Toledo's having a down year, and it would be easy to fade them here in this game and kind of get behind Bowling Green. I like the rival spot. I was hoping Bowling Green would be more popular and I could get on Toledo. I really think this is a Toledo spot. I think they run away with this. They need to get a couple more wins before the end of the year. I think this is going to be their hardest game to get, and I really have a lot of faith. I'm on Toledo here. I'm not sure if I'll move, but what do you think on this, Jimmy? What did you say the public numbers are again? This is heavier on Toledo, correct?
Yes. Yes, it is. And Nuke Worker coin one. Okay, there you are. Sorry, Nuke. I missed. I would never bypass anything from the great Nuke Worker. So I apologize if I missed something. I was trying to see what I'd missed. I apologize if I overlooked a comment of yours. I couldn't find anything other than you saying that coin one, and the winner was coin. I think you're right. I think you're reading the market appropriately. Where we have Toledo coming off not covering at home, not playing well, very underwhelming performance. And you have Bowling Green coming off their second last 3 games at home versus Kent State. They played well in that game. This line is.
I misspoke there too, Jimmy. I meant this is Bowling Green's toughest win to get. I think they can get every other game besides this one, and on Toledo's schedule, this is probably the easiest game left there.
Yeah, it just feels pretty sharp, the line. I think you're right looking at the 2.5 point road favorite and now an 8.5 point home favorite. We know home court, especially in the MAAC, is certainly not a 5.5 point situation. So if we are respecting and trusting the books, you would think that this is probably a Toledo Rocket smash and grab. But I'm a little hesitant here, and I would guess
first game of the day, though, you're gonna want some action in it.
I don't need to worry about that. I get you know me, I'm high volume, so I don't need to worry about that. It is more fun. Don't get me wrong, but I've tried to knock that out of my psyche, especially with MLB in the afternoon spots. Look, I get why you're leaning towards
Bowling Green. I don't think I'm going to put it on my card. I'm gonna just leave this one and watch it.
I can understand. I'm going to put Toledo first half in question marks here. Wager Detective leaning towards Bowling Green. And it's Gorky's 38th birthday yesterday as well. Gorky and Sammy Culmer celebrating their birthdays yesterday. Gorky, sorry we didn't give you the birthday love that you deserve, my man. You give us so much. You really do, Gorky. We love capping with you. You inspire us. You pump us with confidence and energy. So I hope you had a great 38th birthday, my friend. All right. So I'm going to put Toledo first half with question marks. I don't know if I get there. Let's roll on to a big spot on the board. Next up, 7 p.m. Eastern, number 16th ranked Marquette Golden Eagles, 20-6, 11-4 in the Big East at the Villanova Wildcats, 15-12, 8-8 in the Big East. We're at Finneran Pavilion. Marquette comes in off its second straight win, 80-56 at home over Seton Hall on Tuesday's 18.5 point favorites. And Villanova comes in off its second straight loss, 66-59 at UConn on Tuesday's 8.5 point dogs. They did cover. Marquette beat Villanova badly, 87-74 at home back on January 24th as 9.5 point favorites. Let's take a look at the line history and the cash flow here for our second game on the card. This total is a 142.5. It's minus 113 to the under. And let's get to the the spread, here in this one. From a point spread scenario, we have Marquette a very fishy minus 1.5. They opened up -2, went down to -1. Now we're back at a 1.5. We've had a half-point move towards Villanova. The market's been quite correct with these Villanova spots. When they've given us a very short line against the powerhouse, they've done well. There's only 34% of the tickets and 20% of the cash on the spread on Villanova, and there's just 29% of tickets, 46% of cash on the money line on Villanova. So here, if you trust the market opening up their arms to Marquette money, then do you want Villanova full game, or would you prefer to take them for just the first 20 minutes, which is something that does appeal to me? Let's hear from Spooner. Take it away. Golden Eagles, Wildcats at Finneran.
So this is a big game in the Big East. One thing I had circled and noted on this is Shaka has never dropped a game to Villanova under Coach Kyle Neptune. And Villanova's not playing on their campus today. They're playing at the NBA gym, I believe.
Oh.
So that's another thing I don't really like. I was trying to find a way to back Villanova at home after I saw the line. You see the number next to Marquette, and a lot of people like to get behind numbers. But I think Villanova is a public team. I think that's a name a lot of people trust going back years and years, going to Wright and even before that. And while Neptune, a lot of people don't like him, he was a coach with Wright for a long time, and he carries some of the same characteristics into his team that Wright had. And if you look at Neptune's teams, they shoot the ball incredibly well. And I think that's harder to do in an NBA court versus a college gym. You're more used to certain sight lines when you're on a court, and repetition is really important. Your ability to just recall what you always do changes when you feel out of your atmosphere. I like Marquette's ability to be in that spot more. This is a team that hasn't used the transfer portal to build itself. This is a team that's been recruited at all as freshmen by Shaka. I think he is a different coach in today's atmosphere. I'm not necessarily the biggest Shaka fan, but I am a big fan of how he builds his teams and the camaraderie they have together. I think they have the ability to go into this Nova game here and win by 10 again. I don't necessarily like the spot. I wish Nova hadn't blown that game to UConn. It would make it a lot easier for me to back Marquette here. One of the reasons I didn't immediately pull the trigger on Marquette. I think I would like to see Nova get more public, and I could bet Marquette. But what are you thinking on this, Jimmy?
Well, what an important point that we're not playing at Finneran. So, is this their first time this year? Because even against St. John's, they were back at Finneran. This has got to be their first game of the year at Wells Fargo? And if it is, I mean, Marquette plays all their games at Fiserv, don't they?
Yep.
So,
wow. The atmosphere seems to just fit Marquette better for me. I like the team. And one thing I like about Shaka is I like to back him as a dog or just only to win. I like to align my with him. I don't think he's the kind of coach that likes to step on another coach and put him in the mud and run it up by 15 to cover a big spread. But he's the kind of coach that really wants to get every win possible. He stole a Big East championship the other year when everybody counted Marquette out. They said this team's probably going to finish last in the Big East. And every win means a lot to him. And I know it does to Kyle Neptune as well, but I don't know. He's never really proven it to me. I'm not a big fan of his. It feels like a Marquette spot to me.
It's thank you for at least. I mean, I have Finneran Pavilion listed here. That was what was listed yesterday. Now it's not, and it's just such a big difference now that we're talking about Wells Fargo. That makes me this game now. I need to sit with. I need to sit with longer. I can completely understand your thought process around Marquette being more comfortable in an NBA venue. Also, though, when the cappers, especially younger or rec cappers see a 16th ranked team that's 26-11-4 Big East as basically a pick 'em, they're going to gravitate towards them. That makes me uncomfortable as well. So at this point, I need to sit with it longer. The change of venue is the biggest angle that I didn't have in my thoughts or my notes. So at this point, are you going to wait on the spot? Do you want to see if the line keeps moving towards Nova? And it's a very interesting point you're bringing up that the Nova is still a public team, which you're right. I mean, there's interesting stuff here. I need a little bit more time for here. And
I'm going to post my card like I do every day on X. And at that moment, I'll decide whether Marquette or not is going to be on it. Nova will not be on my card. Don't put me down for official on it now, but at the end of this show, I'll have a post in chat that is my official card with everything in it for sure.
We have reached the first stacks play of the day. The second one's coming up here in a second, so we'll play the clip for the second one. But Villanova plus 1.5. is Stacks, and he knew that they were playing at Wells Fargo, so that was part of his cap. Very, very interesting. I need to sit with it longer. Let's roll on because we get to my first bet of the day. Spooner, 7 p.m. Eastern, Manhattan, Jaspers, 13-10, 8-6 in the Metro Atlantic at the Iona Gaels, 11-15, 8-7 in the Metro Atlantic. We're at Heinz Athletic Center in New Rochelle. Let's get into the line history here. I moved on this last night. You know, I'm trying to have faith. I got the Pistons -3.5 last night. I'm trying to have faith that I can beat line movements, although I don't know, and we've watched Razor teach us that it's not paramount in one's success. I did feel like this was going to move to 3.5. This actually had moved 2 cents. Well, it opened at -3, -108, got up to -113, then -111. It came back 2 cents when I looked at it this morning. But then we got back to 3.5 and then back to 3 again. This was a 3. This got down to 2.5 at 9:34 a.m., which I would have been panicking if we got here and it was a 2.5. I would have thought about buying off of it. Now we've had another move back towards the Iona Gaels, -3.5, and it's -112. So it looks like a 4 is possible. So I beat the line move there. Let's get to the total here for this one. We have Iona. Oh, sorry, it's up here. We have, not even that many games. 146 juice to the over, 146 -111. This opened up at 147 and it got down to 145. It was 145 40 minutes ago. Half an hour ago, it moved back to 146. We moved towards the under. When we get to the cash flow here for the Iona spot, 45% of the tickets, 41% of cash on Iona. I figured that Manhattan would be 60 plus. From a total perspective, 59 and 58 are on the over. Manhattan comes in off its third straight win, 80-67 at Fairfield on Sunday as 1.5-point favorites. They're playing really good basketball. You know, Iona comes in off its second straight loss, 79-74 at Quinnipiac on Sunday, 6.5-point dog. So this is where I start seeing things correlating for me. One, you're coming off a game against the best team in the conference. You played your heart out. You covered, but you lost. Also, Manhattan annihilated Iona. January 31st. I mean, it's not that long ago. They destroyed Iona at home, 76-55. Manhattan was up 42-24 at the half. I think the Gaels have something for them tonight. And I expected Manhattan Jaspers to be a public play. They have a better record. Their conference record's only a half game better, which tells a bit more of the story. But I just thought Manhattan would be public, and I was going to come in and scoop up the cake with the Iona Gaels. Take it away for a Spooner. Jaspers, Gaels in the Metro Atlantic.
I'm leaning towards Manhattan in this one, Jimmy. I think Manhattan earlier in the season was dealing with a lot. John Gallagher had some health issues and had to miss a few games. You talk about that spot where Manhattan beat Iona. That's amidst some of the health issues. I think he had just come back for that game. It's one of those spots where kids get up to play for their coach. I like to look at continuity in a roster, and this Manhattan roster has played and started every game together throughout the course of the season. I really like that. We're coming down the stretch in MAAC games, and this is one of those conferences where every game matters. You have to finish. There's more teams than there are spots available in the tournament. And if you want to get a decent spot in the tournament, you have to finish in the top 4, or you're going to have to do playing games. And it gets really dicey to try to win that many games in that few days. So these games mean a lot. I think a lot of people really like Tobin Anderson. He's a popular name amongst basketball talking heads, but I don't think he's done that great of a job coming into this year. Iona, if you looked at their roster and how they recruited, I think this was probably circled as the best roster in the MAAC, and they haven't played like it, sitting with an 8-7 record. I think a lot of people in the MAAC kind of feel like this is a guy that people know more about. Let's take this as a chance to hit the big dog every time he comes in. And I don't think Iona has anything to put this game out of reach for Manhattan. It's one of those like fake sharp lines where we're going to move it so much and everybody's going to hop on because it's moved so much. I really like Manhattan here, and I think I'm gonna grab it. I saw a 3.5 earlier. You said you were hoping it would move to 3.5.
It is.
Where is it?
Yeah, it's 3.5 right now. It did get down to 2.5.
I don't mind being on the opposite side of you here either. I really like John Gallagher's ability to coach, and I think that's really paramount here. I think those 3 wins in a row, that overtime win in St. Peter's, really big one. The Sacred Heart loss, like they play that out 5 more times in the last minute. I think that's going the other way every time. And I think this team is really cooking. I like John Gallagher's ability to win this game. So the 3 points is definitely what I want in my pocket. I don't trust this Iona team. I've watched them play a lot, and I had high hopes for them, like I talked at the beginning of the season, and it's not the team that I think a lot of people think they are. John Gallagher doesn't have the name that Tobin Anderson does, but I think he's the better coach. Find out tonight. Manhattan plus 3.5. Put me down for official.
And we can get you that at minus 105 too. We can lower the VIG. It does appear that Forest could be on the horizon at this point. Plus 3.5 at minus 105 for Spooner. I'm on Iona minus 3 at minus 110. And this is part of the fun. We're not yes men. We're trying to figure out the angles that will bring us success. And so
Echo chambers don't make winning betters.
Sorry, say that again, buddy.
Echo chambers don't make winning betters.
I'm right with you. I'm right with the yes men shows. Well, I mean, I don't watch any shows. I do all my capping here with you guys. But Redbeard in the house. Great to see you, Redbeard. We roll on. Spooner on Manhattan plus 3.5 minus 105. I'm on the Gaels minus 3 at minus 110. We move on. Dayton Flyers. This is an interesting one. 18-8, 8-5 in the A10. Loyola Chicago Ramblers 17-9, 8-5 in the A10. Gentile Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Dayton comes in off its second straight win and fourth in 5 games. 77-76 at home over Duquesne on Saturday. And they have a rest advantage. Loyola Chicago coming in off their third straight win and fifth in 6 games. I mean, I had to stop myself from just moving on Loyola Chicago because of a bias, because of watching these games. Again, I'm never sure if watching these games is helpful at all because you develop these biases. And I was on Davidson. They come in off their third straight win, 5 in 6 games, 77-69 at Davidson. Previously, I felt like these guys, they were winning at home. They just kept winning at home, but that stopped. But look at the difference in lines now, Morgan. These teams met in a very tight 83-81 overtime. I don't have the date here for some reason in my notes, but I usually do. I don't know. I'll find it. But they met in a very tight 83-81 overtime win for Dayton at home. Dayton was 10.5-point favorites in that game. Has this line moved too quickly, or do we trust here? Great job, DC. Love to see it. Or do we trust here that Loyola is just the improving squad, the most improved squad throughout the season? Let's hear what Spooner has to say about this spot. Shout out to our guy, Aaron Malavo, watching from Manila, Philippines. And he says, I think Lithuania money line is worth it in Eurobasket. Love that, Aaron. And thank you for joining us, my man. Billy Friedrich says Loyola's won 5 games in a row at home. And DC Capper coming off another great day. Love to see it, DC. So let's get the line history up here for this one. Loyola right now is plus 1.5. Now you can get 2s. They opened up at plus 1.5 and it went to 2.5. Then back to 2 and back to 1.5. We are back from whence. So this is exactly that opening line. On the total here, we have a 141. It's minus 111 to the over. This opened up at 140.5, got to 141, then dropped to 139.5. It's climbed back up to 141. So the half point move towards the over. And then when we get to the cash flow here, let me get this set up better. When we get to the cash flow, we have, this is nothing on the spread, but we do have the money line, which is helpful. 65% of the tickets and 79% of cash is on Dayton. This line's moving back towards Loyola, 83-90 on the over. Take it away, Spooner. This is a fun one in the A10. Flyers traveling to Chicago, Illinois to take on the Ramblers.
Oh, this is definitely a fun one in the A10. Loyola Chicago has a great home court. I think we talked about this in one of my last videos. Sister Jean's always there. You get a pretty good Chicago home crowd. Dayton as well has a great home court. It's something in the A10. Teams take care of business there. They're out of the 32 conferences, they're ranked 7th with winning 64% of their home games. Loyola Chicago hasn't dropped a home conference game since last year. That's why this line's moved so much. I think they respect that home court a lot. They respect the ability there. Also, you have different philosophies on the coaching end. Anthony Grant, much more of an offensive coach, hangs his hat there, while Drew Valentine had a top 25 defense in the country last year. This team isn't last year's team. He's had to deal with injuries. You go back to Christmas time, and they lost 3 or 4 of their best players from their lineup, and they had to play 3 games in 4 days, and that's a lot. That's hard, and they were against good teams. It's character building. I wanted to back Loyola Chicago after that and find a way, but every time I watch the team play, I lose confidence. They lost their point guard, and it's one of the most important pieces on the court to have. It's like your starting pitcher in baseball. Like, he's influences every play, and so I haven't found the faith to be able to do it. If I was going to be on anything here, it would be Dayton, but I ended up crossing this game off. I think it smelled a little funny with the line. I think Dayton has the ability to get the win here, and I think that's why it's a -2 when Loyola Chicago hasn't lost in a year and a half in their home court and conference. That's all.
That's wild that they haven't lost in that long, home and conference.
Like they're due.
Wow. And so tell me about the so basically we've switched venues, of course, back to Gentile Arena, where Loyola Chicago is being so good, but we have a 9-point swing in the odds, and it's actually 8.5 at some books, but 9 at others. Is that is it warranted, or I guess from your breakdown you believe they're giving too much value to Gentile Arena?
Also, that was kind of a turning point in the season there for Dayton. Zed Key had started every single game until that Loyola Chicago game. So the roster's going through some adjustments. I think the books probably value their roster differently now with him coming off the bench in more of a 6th, 7th man role, and Letang starting. I think they've shown the ability to be a lot more effective as a team with Letang starting and getting all these minutes. I'm really leaning towards Dayton being the side here.
That's an extremely interesting breakdown. I'm going to need more time. I don't think I think I stay off of the spot here, so we can roll on and head into the Ivy League. Barry Smith in the house. You were given a great shout out from Morgan Spooner to get our show started. Great to see you, Barry. Okay, 4 straight games in the Ivy League. Let's put on our Ivy League hats, and I've moved on 3 of them. This is always dangerous. Become a little better in the Ivy League over the years. But we start at 7 p.m. Eastern with the Columbia Lions, 12-10, 1-8 in the Ivy League. The Brown Bears, 12-10, 4-5 in the Ivy League. We're in Providence, Rhode Island. This is the only one of these 4 games that I haven't moved on. So let's talk about it. Columbia comes in off its 2nd straight loss in 9th in 10 games, 87-75 at Harvard on Saturday. And this is the first of a back-to-back. They play at Yale tomorrow night. Brown comes in off its 2nd straight. Well, all these teams are on the first of a back-to-back, so we'll talk about where they're going. Brown comes in off its 2nd straight win, 82-72 at home over Pennsylvania on Saturday. This is the first of a no-travel back-to-back as they host Cornell tomorrow night. And Columbia just beat Brown. Columbia just beat Brown on February 8th, just 13 days ago. Beat Brown 74-72 at home on February 8th as 2.5-point favorites. Razor Sharp Picks says, give me Columbia in this one. Nasty Nate says the Bears smash. And shout out to Super True Story, now a member of We Be Pub and Super True. Anytime I rock with Super True, man, it's just smash and grab. I wish we correlated on all of our action. Let's get into the line history here for this first Ivy League spot. We have Columbia +5 right now. Columbia +5 at -106. They opened up a +4.5. This got up to 5.5, and it's come back. Still a 0.5-point move towards Brown. Brown was very good to us last Friday. Don't want that to get involved here in this new situation. Then we have a total of 153. It's -112 to the under. This opened up at 151.5, so we have climbed 1.5 points. And then when we get to the cash flow, I believe we got all the Ivy League cash flow. We do 67% of the tickets and 78% of the cash is on Brown. It's only a half-point move towards them. 67% ticket, 66% cash on the over. I found this one quite difficult. Take it away for us, Spooner. Lions, Bears in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, this game to me came down to it meaning a lot more to Brown than it does Columbia. The Ivy League's conference where you only have 4 teams playing for the chance to get into the NCAA tournament. And Brown is currently in the running to be one of those 4 teams. And Columbia is completely out of the running. You might see the overall records and think these teams are a little closer than they are. And that first game where Columbia stole it from Brown is definitely going to be something everybody looks at as a reason to try to back Columbia. But with Brown really needing this win coming down the stretch, I think they show up today. Columbia, like you said, has to travel. They have to get right on the road and go play one of the toughest teams in the conference. This comes down to a pride thing. I don't think they want to get blown out at either gym. Sure, they'd like to steal this win, but they also know that they blew their cover in that first game. It's going to be a lot harder to do it now when they're on the road. I got really close to moving on Brown. The 5 points ended up being too many for me to work with, but I couldn't be on Columbia in any way, shape, or form today. If I was trying to put a money line parlay together, Brown would be on the top of the list of teams that I really want to put there, just with that motivation factor. Also, the home advantage of not having to go anywhere overnight. These Ivy League back-to-backs are so tough, and this is the last time they'll get a chance to do it at home. Oh, I could see myself moving on Brown, but I'm not going to do it. That 5 points seems like it could come into play at the end of the game, and I don't want to be frustrated with that.
I think it's a good breakdown. Makes sense. Justin McKelvey is Brown -4.5 in his pocket. Mr. Belvedere says strong market number with Brown -5. Wager Texas says line is super sharp. Lex Steele on Brown. Zoe, my man Zoe saying Brown is a strong first half team against the spread. Andrew G says his numbers say Brown by 8. Ricky Bobby on Brown -5. Action Jackson on Brown. Nice Nate says Bears smash. I'm off this one. But here I attack Ivy League action. Let's roll into our next spot on the board, and we reach our number two play of the day here from our guy Justin McKelvey. Stacks play of the day, a Cornell +9.5 for our guy Justin.
Stacks.
I'm with him. I'm right with him. I took first half +5.5, and we'll go over all of this here. Cornell Big Red 13-9, 5-4 in the Ivy. Yale Bulldogs 9-0 in conference, 16-6 overall. We're in New Haven, Connecticut. John J. Lee Amphitheater, home of the Yale Bulldogs. Cornell comes in off its 3rd straight loss. Now, it was horrific, and they've had to sit with it for 6 days. An extremely ugly 88-49 setback at Dartmouth on Saturday. They shot 27.9 from the field and 11.1% from 3. They fell behind 21-2 to start the game. I mean, look, I'm going to be on San Jose tomorrow, first half. When these teams get just destroyed, pummeled, and embarrassed and sit in that loss, I want to back them the next game. And I'll do it over and over and over and over again. This is the first of a back-to-back with travel. They play at Brown tomorrow night. Yale comes in off its 10th straight win, 84-57 blowout of Princeton at home on Saturday. And they host Columbia tomorrow night. They just won at Cornell. 103-88 on February 8th is 3.5-point favorites. Just 3.5-point favorites. Cornell can score. And they showed that in this first meeting. They're an angry group coming off an embarrassing performance. And I'm going to bet them. And I'm going to bet teams in this situation. And I'm going to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. But I only wanted them for 20 minutes. Now, maybe it's a backdoor cover situation that can be in play with them continuing to fight, and Yale's so skilled. This total, very high, 161. It's come up from 159.5. On the point spread here with this one, we have a 10. It's plus 10 at minus 114. This was a 10 at 6:05 p.m. At 8:13 a.m. And for about an hour and 20 minutes, this was a 9.5. Now it's back at 10. There still has been 6 cents of movement towards the Big Red. I would like just to see what's gone on in the first half, because it was moving at some books. 365 was slow, and I just got a low vig. It would have cost me about 10 cents more vig if I had bet offshore. I got the minus 105 on the plus 5.5, but I certainly don't want to see a 6, and we don't. This is a plus 5.5 right now, minus 112, so it's juiced towards them. There's been no movement on the first half or the full game. Can we the people get a straight bet from Jimmy? I don't know what. I guess a money line bet on play. Yeah, I got one on the board if that's what you're insisting, or you're saying that all my bets are gay. Let's get into the cash flow here for you on this one. Cornell, Yale. Let's get this for you here. Sorry, I should have had this set up. I'll have it set up for the rest of the games here, but the Cornell, here we go. 58% of the tickets are on Yale and 81% of the cash. So big bets are coming in on Yale. 51% tickets, 59% cash on the under. Morgan, take it away, my friend. Big Red Bulldogs. Andrew G says Yale could put up 90 here. Look, Cornell put up 88 against them last game. Cornell can shoot. Super Tweet Story says over is definitely the play, not poking the bear. I get that. Let's hear what Spooner has to say about this Ivy League matchup. Big Red Bulldogs in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, we touched on this Yale game last week, and I think we hit it pretty on the head with talking about them not caring about Penn and looking ahead to Princeton, a team that could probably beat them. Now, if you look at the rest of their schedule, I think Yale has a decent chance to get away with an undefeated Ivy League schedule. That being said, if you're Yale, you're looking back to last year and you remember ending the season with a loss to Brown. You're probably upset about that. And if you look again, they play Brown at the end of the year every year. So that's something they're definitely looking ahead to. It's a few games away, so I don't think it matters that much right now. But with these back-to-back spots, you approach them differently than you would if you needed to win these games. Nothing here matters. You just need to be in one of the top 4 spots because you're playing one of the top 4 teams. The seeding doesn't matter. You have to play one of the best ones. So the teams 3 through 5 right now are who I'm worried about. I think this is a sleepy spot. I could only be on Cornell. That being said, I think Yale's a better team. I don't think 10 points is out of the realm of possibilities at all. It's how hard are they going to try today? How much of their effort was put on this game? James Jones is a really good coach. I don't think he's going to be sleeping on Cornell today. When you're telling the guys one game at a time and you're looking forward, you do have to do the first game first. So they had more time this week, I believe, spent on Cornell. So I think if I'm worried about the upcoming schedule, Columbia's really not shown me anything in the in-conference schedule that I need to worry about. And Cornell's an old conference rival that you can't sleep on. So I ultimately did not move on this game. Yale's good coaching and height really kind of kept me off. I think Cornell could keep it a little closer than 10 points.
Yeah, I get why he's on the full game. I against a team like Yale, even hearing Super Drew saying he doesn't want to poke the bear, I don't really want to poke the bear either. So for me, Cornell first half plus 5.5 minus 105, and let's just see. I'd love to see just give me 5 cents of juice here. Would I'd be pleased to see. Let me just see if it's moved to minus 110 here, and it has. Okay, so I'm going to war here. War is a bad term. I hate using it. Sorry. I'm going to battle here and see how it works. I'm on Cornell first half plus 5.5, minus 105. And Nutflush looking at that team total over 75.5 for Cornell. I guess if you like the over, the problem is so many points were scored in that first game, 191. But what do you think of that Nutflush look? I mean, he's a team total killer. Looking at the team total over 75.5.
It seems like it's a sharp look to me. That might be a better look if you were going to be on this game than either side. I'm starting to lean that way with the back-to-back. You pull out some of your players thinking about tomorrow once you think you got the win in your hand, and some of your backups maybe aren't scoring as many points, and they're definitely not defending as well. I don't know. I'm not trying to move on this Ivy game. I like to have a lot of confidence or a good angle on it, and I just don't feel like I have it in this one.
Well, let's roll on and stay in the Ivy League. Shout out to our guy Troy Torrance in the house. A few days off to regroup and refresh. It's very, very important here. Let's roll on. Zoe leaning towards the under as well as Wager Detective. Kripke says Yale could drop kick them. Yeah, no doubt. Let's move on to the next spot on the board here. Jadwin Gymnasium in Princeton, New Jersey, home of the Princeton Tigers, taking on Harvard Crimson. 9-13, 4-5. Now, I almost didn't bet this. It was the last bet I made, and I made it just before coming to the show. The reason why I bet it was I thought I like my angle so much that I don't care that the market's going against me. And I did the same thing with the Pistons. The Pistons, after the Spurs victory last night, were 4.5. And I was like, you know what? Let's not bet this yet. Let's wait till the sharpest offshore drops their number. And they dropped it at 4.5, but it was heavily juiced to the Spurs. Then there was a 4. And then while the move kept going towards the Spurs, I got in on a 3.5. And I was like, look, I'm going to trust the cap here. I'm going to wake up and hopefully see a much worse number. And that's what I saw. There was 4.5s and 5s. We'll see what it is right now. And here I was thinking about that before the show. I was like, look, I have to back Princeton coming off an 84-57 loss at Yale on Saturday night. I have to think that Princeton takes it out on Harvard. Now, Harvard's playing well. They're coming off 2 straight wins, but those both came at home. Those came last week. They're coming off an 87-75 win at home over Columbia on Saturday. They play at Pennsylvania tomorrow night. Princeton, coming off that horrible loss at Yale, they host Dartmouth tomorrow night. These teams played in the 68-64 Princeton win at Harvard on January 11th. Princeton was 4.5-point road favorites. Maybe this is too many points with the way Harvard is playing, but I'm going to count on, in the first half, a very angry Princeton squad that's been sitting in that debacle for 6 days. I got -4, and I had to pay -115. I could have sent it in, or not sent it. I could have bet it offshore at -113 for 2 cents. I'd rather just, send it in and not be liquid. After the bet, this got up to -118, the -4. Now it's back at -114. But this opened at 5. So there's been a 1-point move, and it was a fast move. It took 15 minutes for Cappers to deem that 5 was too many points for Harvard first half. Now, my thought in this was that it wasn't. And this is what I talked myself into. Maybe I'm just talking trash just to make a bet, but my thought was that this had nothing to do with the first half. This solely had to do with the full game being too many points. And because the full game number was moving, they had to move the first half as well. And I thought that that was a mistake because Princeton's an angry group and they're going to take care of business. 4 points first half is right in the wheelhouse. That was my thought process here. So I did move on Princeton first half. Right now, it looks like a 7.5 is coming. This opened up at 8.5, and then it moved to 9. There was no movement towards Harvard for the first 7 hours. There was no movement towards Harvard for the first 13 hours. It took 14 hours for there to be a move towards Harvard. And this went to 8, and then it came back to 8.5, then went back to 8, back to 8.5. Now we're back at 8 again. So there's been a 0.5-point move towards Harvard. And look, they're playing good basketball. So, it is what it is. When we get to the cash flow here, the public is on Princeton. Maybe I'm setting myself up for failure here. 61% of tickets, 91% of cash. I was telling myself maybe I shouldn't bet this at all. But I said, no, I'm going to trust this angle of Princeton being very angry first half. Get in and get out. Take it away, Spooner. Next spot on the Ivy League card, Jadwin Gymnasium, Princeton Tigers hosting the Harvard Crimson.
Love to hear it, Jimmy. I was leaning towards Princeton. I have it circled on my card as one of the spots that I wanted to bet. I wasn't looking at the first half. I was looking more towards the full game. Like you said, Princeton's off a couple losses, and both of these teams are in the playoff picture for the Ivy. So this is an important game. I think Princeton being at home gives them more than just the edge. I think they have the better team as well. And on that team is Xavier Lee. He's the best player in the Ivy. He's a Canadian like you. He had his best game maybe of his career versus Harvard at home last year. I think he dropped like 35 points. It was a great game. Followed it up going to Harvard with another 25-point game. He's played really well against Harvard. I think as a good player, you remember that, you circle that, you get excited for it. I think that excitement pairs really well with we need to get a win right here. And I think all that pairs really well with these are Princeton and Harvard. These teams don't like each other. I want the number to come down. I was hoping Harvard would be more of a public dog. I was hoping people kind of would lose that recency bias of trust with Princeton. And it looks like that might be happening. If I can get a 7.5 with decent juice, I think I might lock it in here on the show. I want to go a little further through the card before I put that officially on my card, but I'm really strong leaning towards Princeton full game.
Well, let's lock that in for you. Not lock it in, but let's just set up. I do believe I saw 7.5. It wasn't at a reputable book, but we heard there's 7.5 in Pennsylvania. So let me just see here on the offshores here. Oh yeah, we can get you 7.5 regular vig minus 110 available if you so choose. Ronnie Crawford and it was Money Move saying he was a FanDuel. Thank you, Ron. And we have our guy Ronnie Crawford with plays of the day, Sparty in college basketball, and the Raptors in NBA. And Don Play, yes, we will get best bet from our guy Spoondog. And thank you for the dono, my friend. Don Play, you wanted a straight bet. Here you go. Now, I don't know if you want to bet it because I'm going up against the Pig Milk Play of the Day. Pig Milk Play of the Day is on Dartmouth money line, and Pig Milk Play of the Day up 13.23 units, which is spectacular. Over what 100 and what is that? 100 and Jesus, what's wrong with me? 123 bets. Is that right? Okay. 123 bets. Okay, let's roll on here. Dartmouth Big Green 12-10, 6-3 in the Ivy. Pennsylvania Quakers 6-16, 2-7 in the Ivy. We're at the Palestra here. I really like this spot. I really, really like this spot. We already heard our guy Razor, supporting my thought process here with the Quakers. Let's talk about the line history here for this one. Pennsylvania Quakers minus 1.5 and minus 115. They've gone from dog to favorite. It's just moved towards Pennsylvania and it hasn't stopped. The juice has increased. Oh, I guess it's never stopped. This is just moved towards Pennsylvania with every single change at the sharpest offshore. And we're talking 14 line changes. And every time it's making Pennsylvania a bigger favorite. Now, there's more that goes into it than that, but that is, and we have the dog to favorite situation. When we talk about the total, we have a 149. This opened at 147.5. It went down to 146. Now it's up at 149. Point and a half move towards the over. Ricky Bobby on Dartmouth and the under. And Billy Friedrich says Dartmouth Rebenga. Another thing about this also, and that came into my thoughts, Billy, was it was almost 6 weeks ago. And I do think that changes things a little bit. They met in a very tight 73-70. But it was a Dartmouth home win. So there's no Rebenga. But it was 6 weeks ago. Dartmouth won,
They did.
Unless I wrote it wrong. Dartmouth won 73-70 at home back on January 11th. Dartmouth closed as 4.5-point favorites in that one. We know that when a 12-10 team that's 6-3 in the conference goes up against a team that's 6-16, 2-7 in the conference, that the team with the much, much better record will be public. So they're also opening up their arms to anybody who wants to bet Dartmouth. We don't have any information on the spread. We know that 59% of the tickets and 78% of the money line bets are on Dartmouth. 4 out of every $5 on the money line is on Dartmouth, and they've gone from what, minus 120 to plus 100? 64% of the tickets and 61% cash is on the over. Dartmouth comes in off its 4th straight win, 88-48 at home versus Cornell on Saturday's 3.5-point dogs. They just won by 40 points. And this is a road spot where they're traveling to Princeton tomorrow. Pennsylvania comes off of his 5th straight loss, 82-72 at Brown on Saturday's 4.5-point dogs. But so the Rebenga is not the case here, Billy. But good luck being on the other side. Take it away for us, Morgan. Dartmouth, Pennsylvania.
I like Dartmouth here. I don't have a bet on the game. I really wanted to get to Dartmouth, and I was hoping it wouldn't be as public as it was. But like you said, when you have that much better of a record and the lines this close, it's kind of fishy. It seems like you're fishing for Dartmouth money. If you're familiar with Ivy League matchups, you'll look at this. These coaches have been at these schools for a long time. Dartmouth hasn't won on the road in Penn since 2017. That's a long time of going there and just not being able to get it done. But one thing you'll look at is Penn has been traditionally the better school almost every single year, and Dartmouth's really having an up year. It's not the traditional terrible hospital school that I think of when I think of Dartmouth, and Penn on the other side is not having a great year. I think the line's a little telling, though, and I'm not trying to get in front of the lines. The people that are setting these are really smart. They have a lot of data, and they have more information than what we have at the moment. I think Penn showed up in that Yale game, and a lot of people are going to remember that. I think they're going to think they can be sharp and get some money on the win today because they saw that. And even though they didn't get the win, they played really well. I don't know. I still think it's a Dartmouth spot, but the way the market's reacting really sort of scares me. I'm not trying to get in front of it. A lot of people make a lot of money back in the market.
You know, Jackson says sometimes the books make mistakes. Dartmouth just won by 40 points at home. By 40 points. They won the first matchup against this team in a tight one. 40 points at home.
You remember that game, Jimmy?
Last weekend?
Yeah. I
do. It was you were on Dartmouth and I was on Cornell, and your team won by 40 points. 40-point win, much better record, and they're the dog. I'm gonna the public line for the Dartmouth Big Green is gonna go around the corner, and I wish you guys all luck. Let's roll on. We move on to Cleveland State Vikings. We leave the Ivy League here. Horizon League action for us. Let's roll. Cleveland State Vikings 18-9, 12-4 in the Horizon against Detroit Mercy 8-24-13. We're Callahan Hall in Detroit, Michigan. We've already heard from Turnsey. Turnsey is on this Detroit Mercy squad, and I just lost backing this Detroit Mercy squad, and it was a mistake. It was a bet that I probably should have left off of my card there. Spooner brought up what IUPUI had what Detroit Mercy had done to IUPUI. Their lone win last year. They keep beating IUPUI. IUPUI was not going to overlook a weak Detroit Mercy squad. I should have left it off. Detroit Mercy coming in off their 4th straight loss. Cleveland State 12-4 in conference, coming off back-to-back home losses to the strongest teams in the Horizon. They lose at home 68-59 to Robert Morris. Then they lose at home 68-60 to Youngstown State. So whenever a team goes up against the worst team in the conference or the worst team in their division or whatever, you want to make sure that there's accountability when the best plays the worst. And we have it here with the Cleveland State Vikings. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have a total of 136.5 at minus 122 the under. Opened up at 135.5. This got up to 137.5. We're back at 136. We've had a half-point move towards the over. When we get to the point spread here, we have Cleveland State minus 9 at minus 112. They opened up at 8.5. They're now 9. Great to see you, Bailey. Looking forward to hear your action. Well, we have cash flow here to add into this spot where we have an angry Cleveland State team. We don't have any information on the spread, so there's nothing we can do here. We know 76% tickets, 75% cash is on the over. Is this here, Spooner, a smash and grab for the Cleveland State Vikings, a superior team that we know is going to be accountable against one of the weakest teams in the conference? Take it away for us, Spooner. Vikings, Titans in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, no, I'm on. I think I'm on Detroit Mercy here. I haven't moved, like I said, but I have this circled, and this is one of my stronger leans of the day. I think Detroit Mercy's a bad basketball program that's starting to turn around. It's a long process, but they did the hardest step, and they found a good coach that's been in the area for a long time and cares about it. And Cleveland State has had a really good year. They pretty much have a lock on getting one of the top seeds in the Horizon League. Detroit Mercy sitting at 4-13. Not a great year by any means, but this is senior night at home. I think you get a nice atmosphere in the building tonight. I think you get a lot of people excited. This is their last chance to get a home win on the year. 8.5 points is a lot. I'm not sure that Detroit Mercy wins the game, but I don't think I'd rule it out either. This Cleveland State team, they've slipped up the last couple of games. I think the book's starting to get out on them. Tavon Smith is really the heart of their offense. And it seems like their offense can't handle his zone. And a few of the Horizon League coaches have started to toss that out at him. And it looks really effective. I think Detroit Mercy is going to pull out all the stops to try to get a win at home. I think some of the other schools may have been a little they didn't want to show that zone because they want to save it for the tournament. Detroit Mercy doesn't have anything to save it for. They certainly don't want to get blown out at home on senior night. They want the fans to have something to cheer about, to come back for next year and, hey, we're going to turn this program around. Why does Cleveland State need to win by more than 9 points? I don't think they do. I don't think it helps them in any way, shape, or form. I think they are looking at Oakland, who they have to play this weekend, and that's a much bigger game. And I think they might even be hoping Mercy throws a zone at them, because Oakland's going to be throwing a zone at them, and they know that's going to be a lot tougher to handle when Greg Campy's boys are doing it. I think this is a sleepy spot for a team that nobody really has much respect for. I think if your average bettor does not look at this card and immediately put Detroit Mercy as their first lean on their card, I like it a lot. I'm gonna put it on.
That's really interesting too. For all of us as well. This is going to be, if Cleveland State's up 20 at halftime, it's a live bet on Detroit Mercy. Even if they're up big at halftime, this is a live bet on Detroit Mercy on seniors night. So Cleveland State's only a half game up now on the two teams that just beat them. You don't think they take it out on Detroit Mercy first half? Angry? I mean, aren't they a little excited to play on seniors night just because there's going to be fans in the stands?
I don't know. I look at Detroit Mercy as a sleepy spot. I think they have 3 road games in a row. They need to be prepared, ready to win. Like you said, they just dropped 2 at home, and now they got 3 on the road. That's a tough spot to find yourself as a coach. And while you always look at the first game first, it's hard not to look ahead to that Oakland game. They just lost the big games to the big teams. They haven't lost any games to the bad teams. I think this is a spot where Detroit Mercy just has that puncher's chance. I'm not a first half better, Jimmy. I don't like getting behind it. There's too many variables there. The whistle matters a lot. I think the energy in a building affects the whistle. I think no matter what, you have a underdog versus the favorite. That plays into everybody on the court. I don't know if you've ever officiated, but officials, when you're sitting there, you don't want to make a terrible call in front of home court. It's worse. It's easier to make a terrible call going the other way. I'm not saying it happens, but
that's the first
Mercy,
one of
I
the
think they get the
chapters.
benefit of the whistle here. I think the energy makes a big difference. I need a reason to want to win by double digits if I'm Cleveland State, and I see the 2 losses, but that Oakland game right around the corner, Wright State coming up, and Purdue Fort Wayne to end the season, it's too big to overlook. And Oakland being right around the corner, it's a big spot for them. I think they're looking more at the Oakland game than anything, and they're going to use this Detroit Mercy more as a in-game practice for that. They want to win each and every one of these games. I believe they probably can win each and every one of these games, but I don't think they're going to win this one by 9. I don't think they're going to win it by 10. I think Detroit Mercy could have a puncher's shot.
We got you +9 at -105. Is that going to be official?
Make it official.
Okay, I'm still going to look at Cleveland State first half, but certainly with question marks. That whole angle. Oh, say what, my man?
I don't mind being against you. Don't take my cap. Like I said, I don't like first half angles. I take the full game into it. I don't mind it all being on the opposite side of you.
No, I hear you. I just, whenever I hear a breakdown, I just need to make sure that I have the conviction to go up against it. If I have the conviction to go up against it, my ROI is very high because, again, you need to have that conviction. The angle about the refs backing home teams, I've told everybody about the Undoing Project. Spooner read the Undoing Project, and we talk about it often. The book, another book that's nothing. The Undoing Project is the single best gambling book. It's not even gambling book. Single best book on gambling I've ever read in my life, and it's nothing to do with gambling. But this one here is phenomenal. These are books from 10 years ago that kind of shaped who I am as a capper. But it's called Scorecasting: The Hidden Influences Behind Sports, How Sports Are Played and Games Are Won. It's a bunch of economists too that are breaking it down. Copy and paste that. First read the Undoing Project, but then read Score. And Mark Cuban does the intro of the book. It was a great read. Not quite the Undoing Project. Let's roll on and stay in the horizon, Spooner. Oakland Golden Grizzlies, 12-15, 9-7 in conference. At Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons, 18-10, 11-6 in conference. We're at Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne. Let's get into the line history here for this Oakland spot. We just talked about Oakland with Cleveland State on deck. Make sure this is full game. Okay. We have Oakland right now +4 at -108. They opened +5. Took 3 hours and 35 minutes to become a 4, but this was down to 3.5 and then back up to 4.5, now 4. Still a 1-point move towards the Golden Grizzlies. From a total standpoint, we have a 153.5 at a pick'em. This opened up at 149.5. We've climbed 3.5 points here. And then when we get to the cash flow, again, I don't believe we have any information on the spread. Sorry, I should have had this set up for us. Let me quickly get there. Sorry. There's not even that many games. Here we go. Nothing on the spread, so we're going to wait for that information. 61% of tickets, 56% cash is on the under. Oakland coming off back-to-back wins. They needed overtime to beat Detroit Mercy on Sunday. Purdue Fort Wayne last played on Saturday. Purdue Fort Wayne's also played the toughest teams other than Cleveland State in the conference last 2 and lost. They lost at Youngstown State by 22. Followed that up on Saturday by losing at Robert Morris by 7. And Oakland's played the 2 weakest teams in the comp. Well, no, I guess Green Bay is the weakest team, but there's bottom ledger teams in IU Indy and Detroit Mercy. So that is the situation here for the Mastodons at home. And then we have the Mastodons lost to Oakland, 76-72 in Oakland. This was a pick'em situation. Oakland took care of business. The interesting thing about PFW in that loss was how incredibly well they shot the ball. They were 10 of 15 from 3 and lost. They were 28 of 59 from the field. And it's not like Oakland played that well. They just shot 6 of 20 from 3. Now, they shot a little bit better from the field, but PFW couldn't beat Oakland going 10 of 15 from 3. And the rebounds and the turnovers were even. Take it away for us here, Spooner. Grizzlies, Mastodons, and Fort Wayne.
I like Purdue Fort Wayne here. This is a team that shoots the ball really well, and something that allows you to shoot the ball really well is spacing. You just mentioned that they shot the ball well in the first game. Oakland likes to run a zone defense, and one of the issues with doing that is it's hard to get out on shooters. Purdue Fort Wayne has some really fast guards. They rocket the ball around the outside, and I think they're going to wind up with some really good looks. They're not going to be a team that forces the three-point shot versus this Oakland team. They're going to look for some inside looks too. I like their ability to shoot just as well as they did on the road here at home. Again, I think this is one of those spots where Purdue Fort Wayne is at a scheduling advantage. Oakland has to play Sunday while Purdue Fort Wayne does not. Oakland's on the road. It's not that far to get over to Fort Wayne, but it's not a great time of year to be hopping in a bus, doing anything. I think there's just a lot of reasons that point me to Purdue Fort Wayne. That being said, I didn't put it on my card. I like Oakland a lot. I like their ability to show up against anyone, especially better teams. I think them in a dog role is always the role I want to back them in. I think Campy is a really hard coach to sleep on, and at any point in time, he could decide this is the game where I want to make a statement, and I could see Oakland winning this. That's why I don't want my money on it, but if it were, it would be on Fort Wayne. If you wanted to put this in a parlay, I like just the money line way better than that 3.5. I could see this coming down to a close game, but I'm not moving on it, and I don't foresee myself getting close to it either.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult spot. I will require some more time for me as well. Let's roll on. We stay in the Horizon. 2 more games for us back-to-back in the Horizon before we head back to the Metro Atlantic. Northern Kentucky Norse, 12-15, 7-9 in conference at Wright State Raiders, 13-15, 7-10 in the Horizon. That's the Nutter Center in Dayton, Ohio. Michael Johnson here. Let me get that for you. Thank you for supporting our guys. Please support Spooner on X. Putting everything out on X and asking for nothing in return, and great expertise in college basketball and MLB.
I typed it in there as I hopped up. There should be an S after the Spoon's bets.
I don't think they don't let unless you have a wrench, they don't let you put in links. So it's been a problem for a lot of people. So I popped that in for you. But let's roll. Thank you, Michael Johnson, for supporting our guy. Next up for us, Norse Wright State Raiders. Let's get into the line history here for this one and the situation. The Norse coming off a 92-70 loss at Milwaukee on Sunday. It was an ugly performance. Second loss in 3 games, just Green Bay win. But they also beat Cleveland State at home. They went to Oakland and beat them. The Norse are a decent team, and the market's pretty good about letting us know when they should be back. They also have Rebenga in mind because Northern Kentucky lost 78-70 at home to Wright State. Northern Kentucky 1.5-point favorites in that one and got beaten on the boards and beaten in the game. Are the Norse live for Rebenga? Wright State coming off 3 losses out of their last 4 games, and they lost at Green Bay. I mean, what an embarrassment giving Green Bay their first conference victory. They must be an angry group. So the thought of what they did to Northern Kentucky probably isn't in their thoughts. It's what an embarrassment they were in their last basketball game. This total is a 146.5. It's minus 112 to the over. There's been a 2-cent move to the over. That's it. On the point spread here for this one, we have Northern Kentucky +3. This line is moved to Northern Kentucky. The market, again, has been very good, very shrewd with when Northern Kentucky's live. They're certainly telling us they're live here. That was a 2-point move, now a 1.5 move. We have no information on the cash flow, but I can tell you that 42% of tickets and 74% of the cash is on the over. Take it away for us here, Spooner. An interesting one. Norse Raiders in Dayton.
This is a spot I'm pretty close to moving on. I like Northern Kentucky a lot. I know Wright State's off that terrible loss to one of the worst teams. But one thing about Green Bay, they have Doug Gottlieb, who's a first-year coach, and everybody's aware of that. And it's been a big media storyline that's been run with. But Wright State has a first-year coach, too, in Clint Sargent. And he's had a struggle with some of these games. So many 1-2 possession games that he's lost early on. And that takes a mental toll as a coach. You start to lose your guys in the locker room. You're really trying to fight in your first year to set a tone that this is going to be a winning, good program. And coming down the stretch, I don't think he's got the guys playing as well as he would like. That 1-point loss is going to be something that hits you in the locker room because people are going to be making fun of you for losing to Green Bay. A lot of times I'd sit there and circle that and be like, I want to back the team that just lost to the laughing stock. That makes a lot of sense to me. But I look on the other side of this, and I think Northern Kentucky is a good team. They got Robanga on the mind, and a coach in Darren Horn, who's a much more experienced coach. He's a guy that's coached at Western Kentucky and at a Power 5 school in South Carolina. He's no stranger to big games, and I think this 3 points is something that is fishing these teams out there. Then you're not looking at the coaches, you're not looking at the programs, you're just looking at these recent matchups where Northern Kentucky is in everybody's mind is losing a bad game, and same with Wright State, and they just think Wright State's probably going to do well at home. This isn't the Wright State team that I have known from years past. It changed a lot with the coaching change, and I'm getting really close with Northern Kentucky. I can't find any reason not to get on them. What was your thought on this? You wanted to get on Wright State probably after that embarrassing loss?
Yeah, but it doesn't correlate with the line moving towards Northern Kentucky, and I've seen how sharp Northern Kentucky lines have been this year. The market seems to have an idea when they're going to step up in a surprising situation and when they're going to get beaten up. So with it not correlating, I don't want it. I don't want to sit here and trust Wright State's anger. Although I would look to Wright State first half, especially with the coach that maybe is not capable of making the adjustments at halftime.
What are we looking at with Northern Kentucky right now for lines? Are they down to 3.5? Is it 3?
It went from 4.5 to 2.5, and now we're
at
3.
2.5 for Northern Kentucky right now.
It was, but it came back up to 3.
So looking at the continuity of this, Wright State's now used 11 or 12 different lineups on the season. And looking back to Northern Kentucky, this is the lineup they started the season with. They bounced around. They had to deal with a couple injuries, but all their starters are back now. They were dealing with those injuries in the first matchup. I like Northern Kentucky. I want the points. I was just thinking if I was going to tell you money line or points, but if I can get 3 and it's around -110, I would like that, and I'd like to make it official.
Well, we can certainly oblige here. We can get you a +3 at -108. That's the best available.
This is the time of year where first-year coaches kind of get greenhorn. You don't know what to do. You don't know what you don't know, and he's going to find out what he doesn't know today.
It's a fascinating spot. Okay, we have 9 games left in 30 minutes. So we got to try to keep these games in about 3 minutes a pop. Maybe spend a little bit more time on the Michigan game. So let's roll into our next spot in the horizon. The aforementioned Green Bay Phoenix, 3-24, 1-15 in the horizon, coming off a 20-game losing streak. At Robert Morris Colonials, 28, 12-5 in the horizon. We're Moon Township, Pennsylvania here for this one. That was a win, a big one for them at home, 79-68 against Wright State. They have already played Robert Morris and lost badly. They lost badly at home, 89-67. They were just 6.5-point dogs. They shot the ball really well, just turned the ball over 17 times and only managed 21 rebounds here. Shout out to DJ Big Boss in the house. Let's get into the situation for the Colonials, playing really good ball. They won 4 straight, 3 of them coming against tough competition. They won by 5 at Northern Kentucky. They won by 9 at Cleveland State. Then they beat the Mastodons by 7. They're in line to take over the top of the conference here. Line history, we have Green Bay right now at plus 14, juice towards them. This opened up at 15, and now we're at 13.5. That happened 2 minutes ago. So we've had another move towards Green Bay. If you want to trust them here, this totals at 147. It's minus 115 to the under. This opened up at 144.5. This got up to 148 until before there was a little bit of buyback. Take it away for us here, Spooner. Phoenix Colonials in Moon Township, Pennsylvania.
Let's keep this one quick. I don't want anybody to move on this game. I think it's a bad decision too. I think Robert Morris is in a spot where they can look past Green Bay. They're the much better team. Green Bay is on the moon right now. They got their win. Don't get cute with it. Don't continue to try to back them, in my opinion. I'm going to leave this game very far away. Robert Morris has a much bigger game on deck, and that's Sunday. Green Bay is playing with house money, and you never want to bet against the guy in a corner with a knife. He could do anything. I'm not touching it. I'm not looking at it. I'm moving past it.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable spot. I agree. Let's roll on. Head over to the Metro Atlantic. We're going to have 5 straight games in Metro Atlantic. So think about that conference here as we roll through. 7 p.m. Eastern, we have the Niagara Purple Eagles, 10-15, 5-9 in conference at Siena Saints, 12-14, 7-8 in conference. MVP Arena in Albany, New York here. This is a fun one. Niagara was looking better. They won at Quinnipiac, 76-75, beat up on lowly Canisius at home by 11, and then just lost to Mount St. Mary's last Friday by a point, 84-83. They also faced Siena a long time ago, back on December 6th. They faced Siena. They won 69-68 at home as 2.5-point favorites. It's a long time ago. I'm not expecting much Rebenga here. But they're coming off a tough loss towards Mount St. Mary's, and they've looked much better in February than they looked all season long. Siena lost at Ryder, 61-59. Followed that up with a loss at home to Marist. Marist, very good, good. They're, second place in the conference, half game back of Quinnipiac. Then they went into Sacred Heart and beat them. Siena's playing good basketball right now. And here they are at home, 7-8 in conference, desperately needing a victory. Let's get into the line history here for the Siena spot. We have this total at 136.5. It's minus 111 to the over. Opened up at 138, and it's dropped 2.5 points. It's dropped 1.5 to 136.5. On the point spread, we have Siena minus 6.5. This is an even money proposition. It hasn't moved off the number, but we've had an 8-cent move towards the Purple Eagles at this number. It does seem like quite a bit of points here. When we get to the cash flow, I thought we had information. No, we don't have information on the spread. We do know that 74% of tickets, 76% cash is on the over. Take it away for us here, Spooner. Purple Eagles, Saints in Albany, New York.
I'm not going to move on this game. I like Niagara a lot. I think it's popular, and I think it's a little too popular. I think Siena's a better team. I think they find a way to win this game, but Niagara is right at the bottom of the list for teams that could make the MAAC tournament, and they need some wins. They got 2 tough teams on the road this weekend that they have to play in Siena and Marist. And if you're punching at these teams, Siena's got a first-year head coach while Marist has a seasoned vet. This is the time of year where if you're a coach, you're looking for any way, shape, or form you can get an edge. And that coaching edge is probably the angle Niagara is going to look to take advantage of here. The book's kind of out on Siena of what they've done throughout the course of the season. And I like them to keep it close, make this a competitive game, and keep Niagara in it. That being said, I don't like how the market looks on this. I was thinking that Siena would be a more popular team than what they are. I don't know. It's not a game I need to have on my card today, I think. Where you at on it, Jimmy?
I'm interested in Niagara quite a bit. If we look at their last 2 basketball games on the road, they played the toughest teams in the conference. They went into Merrimack and lost by 5, and then they beat Quinnipiac by 1. They're playing both teams. You can say are playing their best basketball, but Niagara can keep this within 6.5 points. I think at this point, I expect Niagara to be on my card. At this point, DC Capra moving on Niagara as well. Billy Friedrich on the over 37 wager. Detective giving us the lines from their last meeting, which is important. Thank you, wager detective. Let's roll on. I expect Niagara to be on my card at this point. We stay in the Metro Atlantic. St. Peter's Peacocks 9-13, 4-10 in the Metro Atlantic. At the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers 15-10, 8-6. We're at Knott Arena in Emmitsburg. Let's get into the line history and the situation here. First, let's talk about St. Peter's. They're coming off back-to-back wins at home. They haven't fared as well on the road, although they look pretty good at Manhattan in an 84-83 overtime loss. They lost at Siena before that, 77-63. And before that, they faced these Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers and lost 79-64 on their home court. Is this an angry group that can go out on the road and take care of business? I don't know. Ryder and Fairfield are in the bottom group in conference. Those were, they beat Fairfield pretty comfortably, but barely got past Ryder here. And Mount St. Mary's sitting at 8-6, playing good basketball. They won at Niagara and then beat up on lowly Canisius. This is an interesting spot. Let's get into the line history here for the St. Peter's spot. We have the Peacocks right now +4, -105. They opened up at 4.5. I don't know why this. Oh man, this is annoying me. Okay, here we go. They opened up at 4.5, a move to 4. Right now, it's juiced to Mount St. Mary's, but it is a half-point move, a legit half-point move. When we get to the total here, we have a 131. It's -114 to the under. It's opened up at 132.5. We've dropped 1.5. And then cash flow wise, we have likely no information. Let's just see here quickly before I say that. Yes, no information on the spread. 81 and 83 on the over. Take it away for us here. Is there the market is telling us that the Peacocks are capable of Rebenga here. This is a pretty short line for a 9-13 team that's 4-10 in conference going up against a Mount St. Mary's team that's rolling. Take it away, Spooner. Peacocks Mountaineers.
Yeah, I like this Mount St. Mary's team a lot. I think Donnie Lynn's done a great job forcing some wins onto the schedule. I think Mount St. Mary's should have lost some of these road games early on in conference, and they did not. I kind of expected St. Peter's to get that one earlier. I don't like the idea of Rebenga here for him either. I think these two teams play similarly. They don't shoot that well. They both offensively rebound very well. One thing I do like is Mount St. Mary's ability to find open shots. While I don't think they shoot well when they get open, they do. And they force a lot of open shots with this offense. St. Peter's offense is kind of gross and ugly to watch for me at times. 4 points was too many to lay for me with Mount St. Mary's, and I don't think St. Peter's is in the game, so I moved on from the game. This is a knockout drag them out conference. If you look at the MAAC versus other conferences, the home win percentage is ranked 30th out of 31 conferences. And that's a home win percentage just above 50%. That's pretty poor. And then if you follow that up, you look at the close game percentage, they have more close games than almost anybody. They're second out of 31 teams. And the blowout percentage follows suit by being 29th out of the 31. So you're always going to get a close game out of these MAAC teams. I think this is another one of those. I think the Mount comes out with the win. I believe this is the best home court atmosphere in the MAAC. Friday night, I think you get some drunk college kids in there pretty happy to see a win. I think this Mount St. Mary's team has a chance to win this conference, and I don't think St. Peter's does. So I think you see the Mount show up tonight.
What's keeping you off? Just the
4 points. That close game percentage. Something there's this magic in the air. Like the refs aren't scared to fuck the home team here. They want to keep this close. They have nothing going on after this game. They'd like to play overtime. I'm not sure that there's not like money involved in some of these MAAC games. It seems like if you're going to pay somebody off, these are the guys you could probably pay off. You don't have to have that deep of pockets. Not trying to hint at anything, but there's a lot of close games, and I'm not trying to say this is a blowout.
Billy Friedrich on another full game over here. Zoe saying Mount St. Mary's catching some steam. I have some interest in St. Peter's. I don't know if I get there. Asterisks and question marks. I'll look at it after the game. Let's stay in the Metro Atlantic. 7 p.m. Eastern. Sacred Heart Pioneers 11-14, 7-7 in conference. The Merrimack Warriors 14, 12, 11-4 in the Metro Atlantic. Hamel Court in North Andover. We have a Sacred Heart. So these teams played, and it was a wildly exciting game. 66-65 victory for Merrimack at Sacred Heart. Merrimack were 2.5-point favorites. Sacred Heart did not shoot the ball well, but they dominated the boards. 46-28, a board advantage in that one that kept them in the game while their shots weren't falling. Sacred Heart coming off a loss, back-to-back home losses to Quinnipiac and Siena. They had won 5 straight games. This was a team that was rolling. Now they've lost 2 straight games here. For the Merrimack Warriors, they're also coming off a couple of losses here. Merrimack lost at home to Marist by a point. They lost at Manhattan by 4. They had won 6 of 7 games. They've been very good. So a couple of losses for them. Does that make them an angry group here versus Sacred Heart? Let's get into the line history here. We have, here we go. We have this total at 144 at a pick'em. It opened up at 142.5, so we have climbed up. Then on the spread, we have Sacred Heart +7. It's a lot of points. This opened up at 6.5, was down to 5.5. This was a 5.5 when the show started. Now we have a 7. So a clear steam going towards the Warriors of Merrimack. We don't have any information on the spread. We know 68 and 63 are on the over. Take it away, Spooner. Our next spot in the Metro Atlantic, the Warriors hosting the Pioneers in North Andover.
So this is an MAAC matchup again, but really it's a NEAC matchup, and that's been the way it has been for the last 3 or 4 years. These team, Merrimack's newer to D1, and they came in the same division that Sacred Heart was in, and I think that first matchup, you saw some of that familiarity. A lot of the MAAC teams don't know how to play Merrimack. I think that's led to some of their early success. They play a weird zone. It just doesn't look normal compared to what most D1 teams are throwing at you with man defenses, and it throws a wrench in how you do things. Sacred Heart was ready for that, and they weren't caught off guard. That 1-point game is indicative to how a lot of their games go. I believe Sacred Heart has a chance to win this game. I think the 6.5 is too many. I would like to get on Sacred Heart. I wouldn't mind getting more points, and I think Merrimack's going to continue to be more public. I haven't moved on it yet. Jimmy, what are you thinking in this game? Do you like Sacred Heart?
It's a lot of points, a surprising amount of points. It's 7 now. With this going down to 5.5 and coming back up to 7, that type of market movement makes me very concerned. Look, Merrimack's rolling, but I think you broke down, why they've had such success in conference.
So there's no 7s right now?
There's 7s across the board completely.
Let's just lock up Sacred Heart. I want to do it. I don't think anybody else is looking at that angle, that these teams are familiar with each other. I think they're just looking at this year's stats, and they're seeing how well Merrimack's playing. Like I just referenced in that last game, all these MAAC games come down to be very close games. You don't get to this point in the season with that stat as a fluke. We're not in the small number category anymore. The interesting Merrimack defense is easier every time you play it.
It's a fascinating angle. I'm certainly going to take another look at Sacred Heart after the show. All right, we got 2 more Metro Atlantic spots, and then we get into Michigan State and Michigan. If Spooner has to go, and we just get through those 3 games. That's okay. We'll maybe hear if he's got move on Kent State, Miami of Ohio, and Milwaukee, Youngstown. So let's roll on. Next up for us here, we are talking 7 p.m. Eastern Metro Atlantic action. Fairfield Stags 9-17, 5-10 in conference. At the Ryder Bronx 10-16, 6-9 in conference. Alumni Gym in Lawrenceville here. Fairfield's lost 3 straight. They've lost 6 of 7 basketball games. They've not been good. Fairfield has not been good. Also, they faced Ryder and beat them 78-75 at home earlier this year. Now, Fairfield were 2.5-point favorites in that one. They shot the ball really well and took care of business in that one, but they certainly have been moving in the wrong direction, coming off a 80-67 home loss to Manhattan. They've just looked bad. They have the home win against Marist, though, but now they're out on the road against the Bronx team, coming off a very tight loss, 66-65 on Sunday at St. Peter's. They had won 2 straight. They were playing well. They're only a game up on Fairfield in conference. Let's get into the line history here for the Stags spot. We have Fairfield +4. It's -117. This opened up +4, -108. So we've had 9 cents of movement towards Fairfield. On the total, we have a 140. It's -112 to the under. It's opened up at 139.5. We've gone up a half point to 140. And then cash flow here. Again, we're not going to get information on the spread, but I will be able to tell you the total information. Again, this is always going to be available when the show's over, so it's important to get your cap in. We have no help on the spread, but 72%. Take it 72% cash on the over. Take it away for us here. Spooner, Stags, Bronx, and Lawrenceville.
Looking at this matchup, I like to look at the coaches as always, and Kevin Baggett has met Fairfield a bunch of times, and Chris Casey has coached at Fairfield just these last 2 years, but before that he had coached at Niagara for 5 or 6 years. So they've met quite a few times. And in the Niagara years of this matchup, Baggett had owned the matchup. Going back to last year, though, Fairfield had a really good team in the MAAC, and Casey won both of those games. I think it was at a 9-1 head-to-head before that in favor of Baggett. And Chris Casey having the much better roster last year definitely affected that. I think he stole one on the road already this year. And I think Ryder's going to be ready for this game. Is it 4 or the 3.5s? I'm sorry.
No worries. Let me just see if we can find some 3.5s here for the Bronx. We have, my bad. Here we go. We have, yes, there is a 3.5 available. There's a 3 or 4 3.5s available. They look like they're on their way out, though. It doesn't look like they're coming. Let me just double check. No, this just moved to 3.5. Sorry, 21 minutes ago. So yes, a 3.5. You can get a 3.5 -108.
Let's get the 3.5 -3.5 -108 right now. I believe this is a circled spot for Baggett. Like I said, I think he's had Casey's number over the years. Just the way that you coach each other or you coach teams. I think they match up well. If you look at this year's Riders team, they play much slower than some of the older teams. And one thing Fairfield did in that first game to take advantage of them was play faster. But I think Kevin Baggett really has the ability to play faster. And I think he's going to have the guys ready for this one. He doesn't want to lose it again. He's got a tough game with Mount St. Mary's on the road coming up. And you got to get the wins where you can. And I think he's got this Fairfield game circled as a win he wants, just for pride, a win he needs for conference positioning. And I don't think 4 points is too many to lay here. I think Fairfield is actually one of the worst teams in this conference. A lot of people like them. You look back at last year, they played really well. They hit a buzzer beater to get some national media attention, but the Riders the much better team to me, and I think they're better coached. I think everything shows up tonight, and I think Ryder comes to play. I like it. I haven't posted my play of the day on X today, but this is in the short running for going to be the play of the day.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm going to take another look at it after the show and see what happens with this market. Ryder -3.5, -108 for Morgan Spooner. Let's roll on. We heard from Troy Torrance, lipstick on a pig, and that pig he was referring to were the Canisius Golden Griffins. Billy Friedrich says Marist -11.5 for a smash and grab. Here we are in McCann Arena for this one. The Golden Griffins have now lost 7 straight games. They have the win over Fairfield to stop it from being a 10-game losing streak. And they faced Marist, and they got destroyed at home, annihilated. Marist beat them 70-47. It was a close game at the half, and then Marist just pulled away. Canisius looked awful, got out rebounded almost 2-1, and failed to menace, but did for a half, but were embarrassed by 23 points. Marist, on the other hand, coming off wins on the road at Siena, at Merrimack, beating Siena 65-64, beating Merrimack 61-60. Back-to-back road victories. Last time we saw them at home, they lost to Iona 75-71, but back-to-back road wins by a point. This lipstick on a pig spot Poughkeepsie is real interesting. You guys know I love pigs. And here's one right here. One of the ugliest pigs that we know. This line's moving towards Canisius. Wow, it's a 10.5 now. Now, I guess it's moved too far. This is now a 4-point move towards Canisius. It's moved too far. I'll hope that the public backs them, so it can come back a little bit here. But wow, that's just a giant 4-point move. And I'll give you the cash stats here in a second, but it's very, very interesting. Total wise, we have a 130.5. It's -111 to the under. And let's get to that cash here. We have that total's not moved at all, by the way. And then cash flow. Canisius has 43% of the tickets. Now, we're only talking about 1,125 tickets. 43% and 2% of the cash. Marist has 98% of the cash, and this line continues to move towards the Golden Griffins. Take it away here for us, Spooner. Metro Atlantic action. Marist, a huge favorite, but becoming less of one as the minutes go by. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I don't like that much market movement. You've heard me say before, whenever I get any sort of CLV, it seems like a death sentence for my bet. I could have only been on Canisius here. It was something I looked at last night. Kind of glad I didn't move on it. I think Marist is a really good team. I expect to see them in the running for this MAAC conference bid. But 12 points is a huge number to lay with them. Canisius has lost 3-4 different starters throughout the course of the season that aren't playing right now. What that means is you got guys that shouldn't be getting D1 minutes on a court right now. I think that shows in their record, but the effort and everything also will show in their ability to get a roster spot somewhere else or on this team next year. And I like their ability and want to show up more in the spot than what Marist needs to. I think John Dunn really wants to get a tournament team this year. I don't think he's going to slip up and lose one of these spots, but that's a big number, and I don't need to be a part of it. I'm leaving it alone. I got a lot of respect for guys like Troy, and if he's moving on it, I think you should definitely take notice. And if you're close, maybe that should be something for you, but it's not for me.
Let's roll. Billy, my man, also giving us a Pig Milk UFC play today. Kudaleba at +155. Big money line spot for our guy, Billy Friedrich. Thank you. DC Capper also with his action in the over 159.5 in Cornell. In the Cornell game, Niagara +6.5 and Sacred Heart +6.5. And he's coming off a great day yesterday. Okay, Spooner, this will likely be our last game on the card here for you. We have 2 games left after. We'll hear if you've made moves on them. Let's talk about the big one. This is the big one. Great way to close it up here. 8 p.m. Eastern, number 14th ranked Michigan State Spartans, 21-5, 12-3 in the Big Ten. And the number 12 ranked Michigan Wolverines, 20-5, 12-2 in the Big Ten. We're at the Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor. We have heard from our friend Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford is moving on Sparty. That is Ron Crawford's play of the day here in college basketball. Ron Crawford! The Wolverines are rolling. Michigan State bounced back from the home loss versus Indiana by beating up on Illinois by 14 at Illinois. It was impressive. Then taking out Purdue by 9 at home. And now they face a Michigan team that's absolutely rolling. They're coming off their 6th straight victory. You have to go back to January 24th to find their last loss. This is the first meeting between these two teams. They close the conference schedule on March 9th with another game, at Michigan State. This is a fascinating spot, Morgan. I know you've had your eye on for over 24 hours. We have this total right now at 149.5. This opened up at 152.5. We've dropped 3 points, as you would think in a highly contentious game, that the total would generally move down with heightened defensive intensity. Michigan right now is minus 3.5. We talked about, Morgan, we talked last night about these 3.5s going away. They went away. This opened up with Sparty plus 3.5 at 6:05 p.m. 2 hours and 15 minutes later, this was at 2.5. And now we're back from whence. We've had a 4-cent move towards Michigan State, but we're at 3.5. We have full cash flow information. 58% of tickets and 71% of the cash is on Michigan State. 60% of tickets, 62% cash is on the over. Take it away for us, Spooner. The big game on the card. Spartans.
Yeah, more eyes will be here than anywhere else tonight. It's going to be a really sharp line, so be aware of any more movement that you see. But I like Michigan State in this one. I like to see that Ron Crawford's on it. I sent you a text last night, Jimmy, that I was looking into the history between these two coaches. And Tom Izzo's been at Michigan State a very long time. He's been one of the most successful head coaches in the history of the sport. He won a championship there at Michigan State in the year 2000. And in that year, Dusty was just getting his coaching career started. He was on the Indiana staff as a student coach, and that Indiana staff handed Michigan State their last loss of the season that year. Bobby Knight's really a famous coach. A lot of people know him. Ton of respect between Izzo and Knight, which is why I believe there's a ton of respect between Izzo and Dusty May. I really like Dusty May. I was hoping Ohio State would get a chance at him last year when they fired their head coach early and kind of parted ways, but that didn't happen. And Michigan picked him up, and I think they've been rewarded for their decision to invest in this coach. He brought some of his players with him, and he's clearly got these guys playing great ball. Huge win there versus Purdue. They needed that win as a program, and they got it. And then to go on the road versus Ohio State, one of the program's arch rivals, and get that win, that's huge for the coach. He's just on top of the world, and I think that's the spot that Izzo knocks him down. And I don't want any points. I just want the money line. I want the best money line we can get available for Michigan State. This is a spot I really like them to win. They've dropped a couple of games, and I think that's by design for Izzo. He doesn't like his teams to be too cocky. But he has certain games he wants to win, and I think these next two are really big for him. I think he wants to win at Michigan, and I think he wants to win at Maryland. That last Michigan game of the season where he gets them at home, I wouldn't put it past them to get Rubanga then. But this game here tonight, I think this is Izzo's spot. I believe if Michigan was going to win this game, they wouldn't have blown Ohio State out the way they did. They were clearly very ready for that game. This is an Izzo spot through and through for me. There's no way he sleeps on Dusty May at all. He's very well aware of all of his tricks. There's a lot of respect here. This is a Michigan State spot for me. I want the money line, whatever we can get. Where you at, Jimmy?
Plus 145.
Let's do it.
I can give you on Michigan State. DJ Big Boss says Michigan State plus 3 for me, despite Michigan State plays defense and will present a challenge for Michigan, and Michigan State is kind of lengthy overall. And BJ saying these teams play again, so he's going to wait to see what happens there at the end of the conference. By the way, BJ has given us his best bet. It is Nova money line. We'll go over all of that. Money Moves Pick says Michigan State 3-point shooting is crap. Michigan should pack the box in and let them shoot all night. This is a wild one. Coin saying Michigan last 7 games relatively decided by 4 points or less.
So, Jimmy, you got all the action. I really wanted to move on. The last game, I got to get out of here, that I had circled and I wanted to hear your opinion on was Kent State. Kent State's a team that I've watched a lot play this year. I believe this is a good spot for them. I also think it's kind of a fishy number. I think they're giving me a number that I really want with Kent State, and that's why I crossed it off and didn't get there. I'm gonna get out of here, but I'd like to hear your opinion on that game. I know you've watched some Kent State basketball and have been frustrated with them too. So interested to hear what you have to say. I want to wish everybody a good luck. Shout out Troy Torrance. Also, Alonzo, you were talking about earlier. He's messaged me a few times on Twitter, and he's doing the real hard work. He's out there reading books as well. The Undoing Project he just started into, and I think anybody that hasn't read that book and is thinking about ways that they can be a better capper besides just watching games and looking at numbers, there's so many ways, and your mind is the biggest battlefield. It's being waged every day, and you got to stay sharp. Good luck to everybody. Good luck, Jimmy. Thank you for having me on again. You got all my plays locked in. I'll put a post here on X with everything you got on there. If you could shoot me a text with what you got locked into, that would be helpful.
I'll be able to do that. No problem. I'll wait till we get through these college games and I have wine time with me in NBA, but I'll send it over to you. What a great job by Morgan Spooner. We got 2 games left, but great job. It's my fault. I was still too pumped up off the hop. Spooner, you're the man. I'm gonna pop your X handle again in the chat when we close up a shop here. But thank you for all your hard work, my man. Spooner, any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Just good luck, everybody. Let's beat the books. Don't fall for the easy stuff. It's a war field out there. There's traps everywhere for us to step on. Let's if we're gonna lose, let's be sharp about it. Have a good one.
There he is, Morgan Spooner, a huge asset for us as we roll through the highs and lows of what we always wanted was the cap all day. Now we have the opportunity. And it's a roller coaster ride. Let's go into these last 2 spots on the board. Again, all the action tonight really starts at 7 p.m. except for the big one, Michigan State, Michigan. And these 2 spots, we have one at 8 p.m., one at 9 p.m. Let's get into this 8 p.m. Eastern start. Kent State Golden Flashes 18-8, 8-5 in the MAAC. The Miami of Ohio Redhawks 19-7, 10-3 in the MAAC. Millet Hall and Oxford, Ohio. 2 strong teams here. Now Akron, of course, sitting at 13-0 undefeated. But then Miami of Ohio sitting in second. In fourth is the Kent State Golden Flashes. Very Jekyll and Hyde team, playing well right now, winning basketball games, but a lot of them in a very tight fashion. Coming off 91-84 victory on Tuesday at Bowling Green. Miami of Ohio, who've been so good this year, they were battling with Akron atop the conference, are coming off back-to-back losses. 78-70 at Western Michigan, 76-66 at Eastern Michigan. These are Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan are a game under 500 in conference. So 2 disappointing road losses. And now they're a very, what we would perceive, a very angry group. Do they have the skill set, though, to defeat Kent State? Kent State is a talented squad. Again, a bit of an enigma at times. These teams met. It was a 70-61 victory for Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio won on the road. It was an impressive performance. Kent State was in complete control of that game, 41-32 at the half, and only scored 20 points in the second half. And Miami of Ohio just completely took over. Kent State only turned the ball over 5 times in that one, but they got out-rebounded and shot just 13.8% from 3. Kent State were 5.5-point favorites and looked to be in complete control. This is a Jekyll and Hyde squad, man. I never know what the hell I'm going to get from Kent State, and I'm very hesitant to want to be involved in their basketball games. We have a money line situation. It's a very tight line, so we can start with the money line. Kent State right now at plus 105. They opened up at minus 103, so we've had to move towards Miami of Ohio. But every time they get to about minus 132, minus 130, it comes back. So now we've had 9 cents of movement here. Let's also take a look at the point spread in this spot. In the point spread here, we have Miami of Ohio as 1.5-point favorites at minus 110. It opened up at minus 1. They got up to minus 2. They've been at minus 2 a couple times, and every time it kind of goes back towards Kent State. Now a half-point move towards Kent State. I do not feel like this is a spot that is correlating the way I want it to. On the money line here, we have 66% of tickets, 69% of cash on Miami of Ohio. Look, they're coming off 2 losses, but they also beat up on Kent State at home. And Kent State is capable of turning it on. 76% tickets, 76% cash on the under. I do not want to be involved in this game. I do not want to be involved in Kent State. There, you can't. What we're trying to do is predict an event. And we talk about the teams and the players, or generally it's often the pitchers that become very predictable. And that's what we want. I find Kent State is just messing with me all the time. And every time they start looking good, I know it's not to be expected 20 minutes later. I do not want to be involved here with them. Shout out to our guy, Fat Wally. Picks for NASCAR Atlanta 400 Bell at plus 1400. Larson at 20-1. Planning to go back-to-back. Wally gave us the winners last week. Shout out to our guy, Wally, man. I can't wait to see you at Publipalooza, less than a month away. We got our guy, UPK Yashala, Toledo minus 7.5, Sacred Heart moneyline, Siena moneyline, Manhattan moneyline, Brown moneyline, Mount St. Mary moneyline. Get that all copied and pasted. Let's roll into our final spot here on the board before we get into NBA. And I told you guys off the hop what our capper Wine Time is doing in NBA. He's absolutely dominating right now. Coming off the finest performance a guest has delivered. Well, certainly in 2025. It may be in 2024 as well. 9-1 in his last show with us. Wine Time in NBA over his last 4 shows has gone 21-8 plus 14.84 units. That's what we're about to do here in a second. But first, Ross Pitts in the house says, give me Youngstown State. Let's talk about this final spot on the board. 9 p.m. Eastern, Milwaukee Panthers 18-9, 11-5 in the horizon. The Youngstown State Penguins, who are 18-10, 12-5 in the horizon. We've already heard from Bailey talking about the ability of Youngstown State to defend. We've talked about Robert Morris and Youngstown State climbing on Cleveland State, Milwaukee right behind them. Milwaukee coming off a very thorough performance on Sunday, the 92-70 victory at home over the Norse. Back-to-back victories for them. They did lose at Cleveland State 77-60. And then Youngstown State, 4 straight wins, coming off of very impressive wins. They beat up on PFW at home. That's hard to do. PFW 11-6 in conference. Then they beat Cleveland State, who are being atop of the ledger at Cleveland State. This team is absolutely rolling right now. So it is a bit of a fishy number. It's a bit of a fishy number. All of these feels sort of lead us to Youngstown State. Lead us to the Penguins. Youngstown State played Milwaukee earlier this year. They lost 79-64. Milwaukee took care of business. They were 5.5-point favorites. The strange thing about the thorough victory for the Panthers, and we're talking from start to finish, was I guess they took 5 threes. I mean, what does it matter? They went 0 for 5. So, I mean, the amount of threes is important. I mean, I guess you'd rather go 0 for 5 from 3. You see the 0% on the board, then go 5 of 24 from 3 like the Youngstown State Penguins did in that one. Coin on Youngstown money line. Justin McKelvey on Youngstown State. Ross Pitts on Youngstown State. I get it. Why is Youngstown State 1.5-point favorites? Now, you could say it's because of the expectations of these two teams to start the year. Higher expectations on Milwaukee. Still, no movement with Youngstown State at this number. Not only that, but the first movement was towards Milwaukee. Milwaukee went from dog to favorite. Milwaukee was a favorite at 10:30 this morning. So, yes, it's come back to Youngstown State. But this is a very, very uncomfortable line. If Youngstown State's sitting here at -3.5, -4, then we can have an expectation of them to smash here. This total's at 153. It's juiced to the under. Opened up at 150.5, so we've climbed 2.5 points to 153. When we get to the cash flow for our final spot on the board, we don't have spread information, but we do have money line information. 77% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on Youngstown State. So why did the books flip them to a dog at one point? 78% tickets, 77% cash on the under. Look, I don't trust this. So I get why you guys are on Youngstown State, but this is fishy to me with the way the Penguins are playing. I thought there would be this slight of a number. Now, again, you can say, well, look what happened the last time these teams played each other. The spread was Milwaukee minus 5.5. So there's been a legitimate change in the marketplace. With Youngstown State being 1-point favorite, we've had a 7-point move. If you were to say that, I guess I would agree with you that 7-point move is implying that Youngstown State is much improved. Would I be expecting a 10-point move? But it makes me uncomfortable, man. It just doesn't correlate for me perfectly here. Why is Youngstown State not a bigger favorite with what we've seen them do over the last little bit? So I'm not going to move on it. I can understand why you guys are on it. I'm not going to move on it. Let's review all action in college basketball here. I came in with 4 bets, and I don't know how much I'm actually going to add to the show or to my action. Toledo first half, I have some interest in against Bowling Green. I don't know if I get there. We stayed off Marquette and Villanova, but we heard from BJ's best bet is on Nova. The move out of Finneran, if this was in Finneran Pavilion, I'd be on Villanova. That move, into Wells Fargo Arena does make me uncomfortable. Chapiadora, I rocked with you, my man. Strategic Investments. Strategic Investments living life, man, down in the Dominican Republic. Nice pool in this house. Beautiful women swimming in it. Spooner and I go head-to-head in Iona, Manhattan. I'm on the Gaels. He's on the Jaspers. We're going head-to-head in that one. Dayton, Loyola, Chicago, I stayed off of. Again, it's another line that makes me uncomfortable. I'm thankful to be off of it. Columbia Brown, I'm off as well. I'm on Cornell first half plus 5.5. BJ says the market not worried about the change in venues. No, that's true. The market is certainly implying that Villanova is the bet. And I can completely understand why you would support it. Now, they're going up against a team that plays an NBA arena at Pfizer Forum every night. That shit makes me uncomfortable. It doesn't have to make everybody uncomfortable. And I'm on a lot of your best bets, BJ. I'm not against it here. I'm just not on it. Cornell first half plus 5.5 for me. And I may add this Cornell team total over that Not Flush Allen be talking about 75.5 minus 105. Princeton first half minus 4 minus 115. That's one of the very rare times where a market went against me and I showed no fear. I'm coming off a good day, but I'm not having a good year, so we'll see how that bangs out. Pennsylvania, I'm going up against Billy Friedrich, Pig Milk play today, and a lot of you guys on Dartmouth. Makes me very uncomfortable, but I bet it. Spooners on Detroit plus 9. Interesting on seniors night. Cleveland State coming off a debacle. I like Cleveland State first half, but again, I don't know if I get there. This is a very uncomfortable card. A lot of these spots I'm on the other side of here. But Justin McKelvey's right. That is the corner of BJ and Stacks Boulevard. Nova. Great company, man. Oakland, Purdue, Fort Wayne, I'm off. Spooners on the mighty Norse at plus 3. I kind of like Wright State first half. I'm going to need more time with it. I expect to stay off. I've been telling you that this market's been has such a keen eye with the Norse games. When Norse are bigger favorites than when the line should be bigger against the Norse, and it's they're a plus 2 or plus 1. When you're like, how could this be? They deliver, so I may just stay off here. Then Niagara, Purple Eagles, and possibly St. Peter's. And possibly Sacred Heart. I really want the market to marinate. I'm going to take a closer look at Morgan Spooner, who was action on Ryder. He's also on Sacred Heart. Then Canisius Marist was a stay off spot. But if this line does come back a little bit to Marist, that will make that first half Canisius open up again. So I should put that down here as it could open up again. All right. Then DC Capper gave us the Cornell over 159.5, Niagara plus 6.5, Sacred Heart plus 6.5. He's coming off 4 in one day. Billy Friedrich's Pig Milk UFC play today is Kudaleba at plus 155. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Spooner gave us Michigan State money line. Not only Spooner, but we also got Michigan State from our guy Ron Crawford. BJ's best bet is on Nova. And I stayed off the late games, which won't be a problem because I'm going to have NBA action, baby. NBA action. So it's time to move on to the association. It's time to move on to NBA here. To move on, I got a little bit of excitement here for us, just to to cleanse the palate, per se. We have talked a lot about our friend Mr. Gokster. We had a cut of Mr. Gokster that he didn't appreciate. He didn't like, and so I stopped playing it. But we've recently found out that Gokster is not alone in this technique of watching horses. So let's review our friend Mr. Gokster. Now, I know a lot of you guys are champing to talk NBA because our guest is on a 21-8 plus 14.84 unit run, which makes me like a beaming proud father. But let's review what angered Gokster and embarrassed Gokster the first time. It was this ass slapping. Ass slapping while he watched the horse race, and it didn't work out for him. It was a losing proposition here for him. Now, we have recently found out that he's not alone in this technique here. But Jose, I can't find.
Open up your recall.
Now, I think there's a big difference here, and we'll go over this here. I think this is a big difference. It feels like, now, I would like you to play that clip we just saw again. It feels like he is really enjoying slapping his ass, whoever this strange capper is. Jose, could you play it one more time for us?
Open up your recall.
Now, how do I know he switches cheeks after a good 8 or 9 smacks? This guy likes slapping his own ass. Clear legs. Now, it's different with Mr. Gokster. Mr. Gokster is doing it out of necessity. He doesn't like it. He's not sitting there feeling good about himself. He has to do it because he's willing his horse to victory. And I hope that Mr. Gokster will come to terms with his ass slapping, because it is out of willing his horse to win, not out of some sick satisfaction that other weirdo got. Let's get into the NBA here. Thank you for that little diversion. Let's get into the NBA here. Our next guest is eating, and it's eating good. God damn, I've loved seeing him rock. He dug a hole for himself starting out the year, and he has completely climbed out of said hole. The NBA capping on this show has been really impressive. We now have our guy Durrell hitting at a 10% ROI. I am at a 5.24% ROI, and our next guest is at a 5.73% ROI. And also, big thank you to Kelly McInnes, who did show me that was Kelly McInnes who gave me the information that Gokster's not alone on this ass slapping technique. He's not alone. Let's bring on our next guest. 9-1 plus 7.9 units last show. Show before that, 4-2 plus 3.25 units. Show before that, 4-3 plus 1.5 unit. Show before that, 4-2 plus 2.19 units. And good God, please believe me when I tell you, this shit is paramount to our life. If we don't succeed at this, everything else crumbles around us. Please welcome from Los Angeles, California, our guy, Mr. Wine Time Sports. Wine Time, how are you, my man? Oh, let me get him clicked in. Wine Time, how are you, my man?
Jimmy the Bag, my guy. Happy Friday to you, man. 4 weeks from this time, we're going to be in San Antonio kicking it, watching these college basketball games, March Madness. Looking forward to it, but we got a nice card today, Jim. Haven't made any plays official on X yet. Wanted to break this card down with you, but I already have 2 to 3 dogs that I know I'm going to be on this card today. And looking forward to get into it.
I want to get into it too, but before we put up the first game, can we have your take on the ass slapping? Do you agree that Gokster's doing it out of necessity to will his horse to win, and the other is some fucking sicko?
Gokster's
switching cheeks halfway through.
Right. Gokster's trying to get that cash, man. You know that if he does that, he's going to get that cash. So I respect the grind. I respect the horse grind, man. It was fun going to that horse track with you guys back in January, watching them live.
That's it. See, he's just it's out of necessity. It's out of necessity here.
I love it.
And we will be back at Retama, baby. Retama. We'll be back there on Sunday. Let's get to work. I have made 2 bets on today's NBA card, and you have climbed completely out of the hole that you were in. You are now 55-50. The interesting thing, and Jose, we can pull up that first game with the records on it. The interesting thing about that record that you have is 52.4% is the break-even point, but not when your average line is plus 104. That's it right there. 52.4% with an average line of plus 104. It gives you an ROI plus 5.73%. Let's just look how we're going to see as quick as possible. Okay, we don't need to play it again. We don't need to play it again. But he did. Res Mob in the house. Res Mob, respect, play today in business. Let's get to work. Wine time, and let's get paid. I really like the way we're seeing the board right now. And it's been, look, I love hockey so much, but focusing this last little while on only basketball has been extremely enjoyable. 7 p.m. Eastern, we get started with the New York Knicks 37-18. 37-18, 17-8 on the road to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 45-10, 25-4 at home at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. Both teams are on the second half of a back-to-back. We'll be talking about that in a few different circumstances here this evening. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow, and then hand it over to our expert who is running hot 9 in one day. That was a goddamn thing of beauty here. Let's go. We have a very fun basketball game. Now, if you look at the New York Knicks here, you think, wow, this team has been winning a lot, but they've been doing it in an underwhelming fashion before the break and again against the Bulls last night. We have Josh Hart, now a game time decision. That is important. He was ruled out last night. He may be able to go tonight. OG Anunoby, look, I know he played the first 49 games of the year, but get used to watching him in street clothes because that's what he's best at. This line opened up at the site that we used to play poker at -4 for the Cavaliers.
Wow.
That was at 2:36 p.m. It didn't last a single minute. It didn't last a minute. 30 seconds later, it's a -5, -115. These are with the limits, so it's not like someone hammered it for 20K or anything like that. Then it goes to 5.5. 20 minutes after that. 10 minutes after that, it goes to 6. An hour and a half after that, it goes to 6.5. By 8:30 p.m., it's 7.5, and by 9:53 p.m., it's an 8.5. So let's look at the sharp offshore that says they don't ban anybody, but we do know that they do limit them. Let's get into the line history there. They are sitting here with an 8.5, but that's where they opened it. They didn't open this up until midnight. Opened it at 8.5. So this is from, at this point, we're looking at a 1 cent move towards the Knicks, but really that's not the case. When we get to the total, we have a 240.5. It's juiced to the over. This opened here at 240.5. It opened yesterday afternoon at 243. This opened at 240.5. This got down to 237.5. This was 237 at 5 in the morning. At that point, there'd been a 7-point move towards the under, or 6.5-point move towards the under. Then it starts climbing back up again. This gets up to 241 when the show started, and we're back at 240.5. So we've had no movement from the opening line, but a lot of twists and turns to get there. When we get to the cash flow, here, at least we're going to get all the cash flow information thanks to the NBA. Let's get to all markets. And we have 44% of the tickets and 57% of the cash on the Cavs, 57% of tickets and 66% cash on the over. As I said, both teams on the second half of back-to-back. Knicks are on the second half of back-to-back after an underwhelming 113-111 overtime victory at home over the Bulls last night. Again, I'm not going to give shooting percentages of the last 5 games. I'm not going to give pace. We'll do that after there's some sample here in the second half. It just it's not helped me in years past, and now I just cut it. Cat went for 32 and 18. McBride went for 23. Brunson 22 and 12 assists. They've won 3 in a row in 10 of their last 12. You'd sit there going, wow, they're playing good basketball. I don't think they are. I mean, I got a vividness bias of the Celtics destroying them at MSG and them coming back and barely getting past the Atlanta Hawks the next night. The Cavaliers. Oh, so no Anunoby for 6 straight games. Josh Hart missed the Thursday game with a sore right knee. Cavaliers coming off a 110-97 win last night at Brooklyn. Mitchell goes for 26. Mobley 18 and 13. Jared Allen against his former team went for 16 points and 20 boards. What a monster. Darius Garland 18 points and 9 assists. They're going to be working DeAndre Hunter in. They're going to be picking up Javonte Green after his buyout from the Pelicans. They bring back Dean Wade from injury. Wade missed 11 straight games with a bone bruise in his right knee. What a fascinating situation. Wine time. Should the Knicks be 8.5-point dogs? Take it away. The floor is yours, my man.
I think this line's got to be where it is for a reason here. I only think Cleveland Cavaliers are going to smash and grab here. Both teams on a back-to-back. Knicks, they play really well against teams that are not 500. Teams against that are over 500, they really struggle against. I believe they're like maybe at 500 with that. So as the season goes on, I think they're going to play some harder competition. And Cleveland Cavaliers, I mean, this potentially the best team in the NBA right now. I mean, these guys are rocking and rolling on all cylinders. They added Hunter in. They're going to start working him in. I think he's going to fit in quite well there, especially when he's in those corners for those 3 balls. I think this is a smash and grab, Jim. This is a game that the more I look at, the more I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to blow these guys out. I want to try to maybe get on the over too, just because I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to stop the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially if Josh Hart isn't going to play in this one. He's questionable right now, I believe, but I don't think he's going to go on a back-to-back here. I think the Knicks know they're going to lose this game here. They got the win barely yesterday against Chicago, team that's not playing well at all. Barely got the job done. It was close the entire game. I'm going to take the Cleveland Cavaliers here, minus the 8 right here, minus 110 right here. I just want to make sure that's the line still available at my book. Oh, wow, it's an 8.5 now.
I think I might be able to get you an 8 here. Let's line shop. Knicks are just playing such underwhelming basketball. When I read they were 10-2 last 12, I had to actually verify it. I was like, really? God, it just doesn't feel like it. Can we get you an 8? Yes, we can. Wow. Did this all just move? This all just moved to 8.
Let me see. I'm going to refresh both my books. Let's see.
The Sharp books just moved this to 8. This just moved as we speak. So this moved to an 8. And not only that, but you can get that 8 at minus 107.
Ah, man. You know what?
Moved 4 minutes ago.
That's tough. Why didn't it move to back to an 8, I wonder? You know what? I'm gonna hang tight on this one, Jim. This isn't anything I want to wait on because neither of my books can give me a minus 8. It's only 8.5 still. I'm gonna guess mine are gonna adjust here any minute now, but I'm gonna stay away from this one for now, Jim. I do lean towards the Cavaliers. It was something I wanted to take, and I think I will end up taking it. As the show goes on, I'll let you know, or I'll tweet it out later on. But I think this is a Cleveland Cavaliers spot, and it might be an over spot here too. My worry is just if the Knicks don't have their starters in that fourth quarter and they can't really get enough points to get over this over. Maybe we're looking at a first half over, not really into taking first half totals. That might be something here. It's the highest total on the board. Maybe we just go first half. All the things I'm going to look at here, but as of right now, I'm going to stay off that. That move made me a little bit weary, and I haven't moved on this game yet. So if I can get, I'm going to hold off on this one, Jim.
No, I get it. It's all the sharpest books are at 8. The public books that are followers are at 8.5. So,
yeah.
We'll see in all ears. And also, again, I really, we've heard Spooner talk about the importance of the Undoing Project. I just, if I could, it'll change every decision you make in life if you read that book. And the first chapter is NBA. The first chapter is the most phenomenal chapter of any book I've ever read in my life. Now, you wish it was all about sports, and it's not. But if you watch what's happening with Wine Time, is when you are winning, you make smarter decisions. Now, this is a real simple thing, but when you're winning, you're more selective. You make smarter decisions. You don't rush into things. When you're losing, you reach. You hammer away. Your card's way bigger. And there's all these psychological reasons. And Morgan talked about it's a war going on in your head. It's so true. Your subconscious is an asshole. It's going to fuck with you. I mean, you heard it in so many different ways. You remember Louis C.K.'s big joke about how your body's an asshole because it doesn't tell you you're full until 10 minutes after you're being full. There's just so many things going on with your subconscious that's negatively affecting our lives. And once you can be consciously aware of it, you can improve here. We have Lillard out, Hart out, OG questionable here from BJ. Cavs second quarter for our guy Nasty Nate. Let's roll on. 7 p.m. Eastern. So here's a perfect example. You guys know I'm trying so hard to cut player props out of my action. Trying so hard. What has that caused? When I bet a player prop, my ROI is fucking insane. Now, I don't want to get too caught up in it. It's a smaller sample size now, but I know what's happening. It's the same thing that happens when you have the conviction to bet against a capper you respect. When you have the conviction to do that. And I don't mean when you come to the table, you've already got a bet and you hear someone's on the other side. I mean, when you hear someone's on the other side and you say, you know what? I'm going to go up against you here. That's how the conviction I have. That's what's happening with my player props. And do I have conviction with Ja tonight? Now, second half of a back-to-back, what's the worst thing that can happen with Ja? Well, he doesn't play, and the bet's avoided. Ja was terrible yesterday. The Grizzlies were terrible yesterday. I'm starting to wonder if we can count on the character of this Grizzlies team on the road, and I don't know if we can. Look, I took the Pacers yesterday. It took me a while to have the conviction because I knew a lot of people on the Grizz. But I had it. I got it. I bet it. And Ja was horrific. Ja went 4-15 from the floor. He scored 12 points. He committed a game-high 5 turnovers. And the last time he was in this situation, I bet his over in PRA, and I cashed it. I think you were with me on that one time, or at least we were talking. I think I cashed it by the end of the second quarter. I cashed it pretty quickly. I bet it again. I got the over 31.5 at minus 120. This was minus 126 and minus 128 at offshores. Here at 365, I got the minus 120. Again, I think this cashes quickly. I don't think it takes very long. Right now, wow. It's gone against me 5 cents. Wow, I did not expect that. So we got a 5-cent move to the under. That's interesting because the last time when I cashed it, the line was moving in my direction. This time we've had a 5-cent move against me. I'm on the over 31.5 PRA. Here, I'm surprised it's gone against me. I'm going to check another book too to see if it's also moved there. All right, so here we go. I wanted to back the Grizzlies against the Magic, but I told you guys on yesterday's show that I don't think the break helped any team as much as it helped the Magic. We saw what they were like in the beginning of the year when they were healthy. Then they fell apart with injuries. The guys came back and they still sucked. They needed to regroup and refresh. This line's moved towards the Memphis Grizzlies. And again, I don't know if I can fully trust this team on the road character-wise. They've gone from minus 2.5 to minus 4, a 1.5 point move towards the Memphis Grizzlies. On the total here, we have a 226 at a pick'em. This has come all the way up from 222.5. So they expect offense. I cannot believe that this total would climb like that. The line would move towards the Grizzlies, and I would get 5 cents worse line on that PRA. It's extremely confusing to me, but 81% of tickets, 81% of cash is on the Grizzlies here. Look, I get it. If you're on them, I get it. The market is moving in your direction, which should make you feel good. A Man Bear Pig says, I think Grizzlies blow them out. BJ says, clear Grizz spot. I'm going to not trust the Grizzlies on the road. And the Magic know that they need to win and win now. If you want to fade the Magic off of a win, look, it wasn't a win that was extremely impressive, and they know they're battling with Suggs out. But let's go over more here. Both teams on the second half back-to-back. Grizzlies coming off ugly 127-113 loss. Pacers last night. You know, also, it was 283 games between the Grizzlies reporting no injuries. So they have a full-strength lineup, and they just dropped the ball. They're not used to having a full-strength lineup. They led by 13 in the first quarter. They allowed Indiana to put up 50 in the second quarter. That's the most in the second quarter. That's the most in any quarter in franchise history that they allowed. So, yeah, you can expect them to bounce back, but I'm not going to. Bain led the Grizzlies with 23-7. Jackson goes for 18-7. We talked about Ja's struggles. The Magic come in off an impressive 114-108 victory at Atlanta. You know, they talk about how important Suggs is to the group. They were 6-14 coming into the All-Star break without him. Mosley wants, Suggs out there badly. But against the Hawks, they got 36-11 from Banchero. They got 25-7 from Wagner. They got 9 and 15 boards from Wendell Carter Jr. The Dougie White says Magic can't be trusted. I disagree. I completely disagree. This team just needs to regroup, refocus. But look, I get it. The Grizzlies came off a big loss. I'm going to trust Ja to deliver the goods, not them to go into Orlando and beat them. But I get why you guys are on them. Public's on them. 4 out of every 5 tickets are on the Grizzlies. 4 out of every $5 is on the Grizzlies, and the line's moving towards the Grizzlies. So at least you can feel comfortable there. Take it away, Wine Time. Fascinating spot at the Kia Center in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, this should be a good one, Jim. I think the line tells you everything, but it is going to be playing in Orlando. It's just crazy to see this line move. Both my books just moved. I just refreshed it, and both of them moved to a 4.5 already here for the Grizzlies. Makes me think Grizzlies are a spot here, with this line moving. I'm just not going to take it here. I took my cash yesterday with the Magic, got away with that one. They're late. They played hard in that game. This Magic team, I do believe, is going to be around a 500, 2 games over 500 team pretty much throughout the rest of the season. They're going to make it run, making maybe into that past the play, maybe get into that 6th seed if they can. But they're definitely going to be playing hard in this one. The Grizzlies, man, they're coming off 2 losses, but this team they're 18, 19 games over 500. I don't have their record right in front of me, but I definitely like Grizzlies coming off the 2 losses and Ja being angry in this one. But you said it being on the road in Orlando, not too sure here. It's a back-to-back as well. I'm going to stay away from this one. The market, it seems like the more the tickets are coming on the Grizzlies, but they are moving the lineup. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be out for the Magic. I don't think so. Or if maybe Ja is just actually going to play in this one. Maybe he's officially ruled in. You said he was maybe questionable, Jim?
So let me go back to that injury report.
I feel like he has to be playing in this one. The line's 4.5 now. I think that's most likely.
Oh yeah, it's just Williams that's on here.
Yeah,
interesting that they have Suggs as a possibility. I mean, we kind of thought Suggs would come back after the All-Star break, but that wasn't a ton of confidence. Here, it's just Vince Williams is questionable with left knee soreness.
Okay, yeah, I would lean towards the Grizzlies in this spot. I'm not going to move on it. I think if you probably got the 1.5 or 2.5. Good for you. Line's definitely moving your way. But I'm going to stay away from this one. I'm not going to ask. I don't want to ask the Grizzlies to beat a team by 5 points on the road against a team that's fighting to get into the playoffs still the second half. They got a lot of young guys. I watched this Magic team play against the Lakers twice last year at Crypto, and I saw the way they play out there. They're a motivated group. They like playing for their coach. They're young guys. They want to win. They want to win now. They've got the talent to do it. They've got Bankera. They've got Wagner. They've got Suggs. They've got a pretty good team over there. So I definitely think they can hang in this one, but I would only lean towards the Grizzlies. But I'm going to stay away from this one.
We are in business, and Suggs is out officially, according to BJ. Thank you, BJ, for that. I don't have him official here. UPK, Ayash, Yala, Grizzlies, Knicks +8, Warriors moneyline, Mavs moneyline, and OKC. I'm going to fucking show what the spread is for Robert Cherry here. I'm going to copy and paste all that information. All right, let's roll on. Next up for us, we have Milwaukee Bucks at Washington Wizards. I spent too long on this game. I just
Same.
God, I just want the fucking pig. I don't know what it is about me, and I try to convince myself to back them. The Bucks are a very confusing basketball team right now. And the line was moving towards the Clippers. And I made the decision after the show. I was like, I'm too confused with the Milwaukee Bucks right now to sit here with an X's nose and explain why I'm going to cash a bet. I can't do it. So let's roll. We have a question from Spammington about the Michigan game. If you have a look on it, we'll ask if you want to at the end of the NBA. We'd love to hear of college basketball, if any moves you're making here. Nutplush says Magic only allow 115 points in 4 of the last 18 games, and Grizzlies team total set at 14.5. Sean Pulliam moving on Wizards first quarter and money line. So the big story here is, of course, Chris Middleton making his Wizards debut, showing his character. There are a lot of guys who wouldn't bother putting on that jersey and just wait to be bought out. He's showing his character. I like him. I like him for this. I like him a lot for this. Here, the Wizards come in 5-23 at home, and the Bucks are just 11-15 on the road. There's been a line, I could have got a better number than 6 if I wanted on Washington, and I just couldn't do it. This opened up at 7, got to 6.5, got to 6. I could have got 6.5 easily. I probably could have got a 7 too, and I was like, this is last night. Then it goes to 5.5. This was a 5.5, and then we see our first buyback. We get this back up to 6. It is slightly juiced towards the Bucks at 6. So a move towards the Wizards. Oh, sorry, it's wrong. Yeah, let's get into the total. This total is at 228.5. It opened up at 229.5. We've dropped a point down to 228.5. Jermaine says, Wiz, cover this line. Let's take another look because the second half of back-to-back with an old Bucks team. Giannis played 23 minutes yesterday. Of course, Portis out with a 25-game suspension. And Dame is out, sitting out Friday, hamstring injury management. So no Dame, which means that Ryan Rollins, a point. Andre Jackson at 2. Good God. Prince at 3 and Antetokounmpo 4. Antetokounmpo played 23 minutes yesterday, and he's not going to be playing anymore. And respect 30th anniversary play today. Iona first half -1.5. He says this play comes around once every 30 years. Here we go from Respect. I love it, Rez. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Saturated says, who really wants to be backing the Wizards? I hear that, and that's why I didn't press the button. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for the Wizard spot. Just 22% of tickets and 26% of cash on the Wizards. I mean, it's clearly the sharp side. 84 and 85 on the over. You look at the 1 and 2. You got Rollins and Jackson going up against Poole and Koulibaly. And then you have Middleton. I don't know how much he's going to play. But you'd have to say, going over 1, 2, and 3, the Wizards have the advantage, player personnel-wise. I mean, I don't think it's hard to say that, but feeling it. So the trade, Middleton to the Wizards for Kuzma, 4-team deal. And we have Middleton now expected to make his Wizards debut against his old team. Milwaukee comes in on the second half back-to-back after securing 116-110 win at home over the Clippers. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 23 points in 23 minutes in his return from a calf injury. In 5 games with the Bucks, Kuzma is averaging 15.6 points and 8.2 boards. They speak highly of him. And the Wizards begin this post-All-Star break, with the worst record in the NBA. They lost 20 of 23. They're last in defense in the NBA. Jordan Poole averaging 21.2 points per game, but taking 27 shots to do it. God, he's so annoying watching him play. Nutflush has this line with the Wizards. Home record seems fishy. It does. Wagers Tech says Bucks 4-0 against the spread on back-to-back. Take it away here for us, Wine Time. A fascinating spot, Bucks Wizards.
Yeah, Jim, really fascinating spot. I was looking at this game last night a lot. I looked at this game a lot this morning. I just couldn't really figure out the line. I was like, wait, why is it looking like this? Is someone not going to play? I didn't know Dame was even on the injury report. 10:33 a.m., 11 minutes ago, Pacific Standard Time, he got ruled out, hamstring. Makes sense why the line's the way it is. It was weird, though. It was a 5.5, and it went back to a 6 after he got announced out, which has me treading a little bit the other way, guys. But it's not. I'm not going to let it scare me here. I'm going to take the Washington Wizards. I'm going to take them on the money line, though. I'm going to take them plus 185. I'm getting almost double my money here with the home team. Bucks tired group. Giannis out there. I mean, he's going to have to do a whole lot with that group that's going to be around him. Portis out for 25-game suspension for, I think it was a pain medication. Not sure what it is. That sucks for them. That's a big blow on them. Dame, he kind of always has that hamstring lingering with him. He's kind of had that the last couple of years. But with that being said, I think this is a weird Wizard spot. I'm also going to take Jordan Poole. As annoying it is to watch him play the game of basketball, Jimmy, I'm going to take his points over 22.5 minus 120. Get that available right now. Leave at most books. Maybe you can get a better line than me.Maybe you can get a minus 110, minus 115. But I like his over 22.5 points here. I think if the Wizards are going to win this game, he's going to have a big night here. And Chris Middleton, making his debut. He's going to be coming off the bench, I'm assuming. I don't see him projected in the starting lineup. We'll see what he does here. We know Chris Middleton can make those jumpers, man. We saw him doing the NBA Finals when the Bucks won it all. He was the co-MVP in that series, man. If he didn't make those wide open 3-point shots and those shots, it seemed like he was lights out in a couple of those games when they really needed him to be. And he really loved playing for Milwaukee. I think he's going to have himself a little night too. I'm not going to take any of his props because I don't really have any of them available right now. I don't know what they are. But if he does play in this one, I expect him to play well. Kuzma coming back to Washington, didn't really accomplish anything there. So we'll see what he does out there today. It's going to be him and Giannis out there. I don't like the group that they have starting for their starting 5, and their bench is pretty weak as well. So I'm going to take the Washington Wizards because I believe that they're either going to win this game outright or they're going to probably lose this game by 10 plus points. But I think Wizards can get these guys outright, honestly, and at plus 185, I think that's a good number. So I'm going to take the plus 185. I definitely didn't like it as much as I did about 30 minutes ago before I heard Damian Lillard out, but I'm still going to take it. That's the biggest dog play of the day for me. So Wizards plus 185 on the money line, and Jordan Poole over 22.5 points minus 120.
I can get you a 200 offshore.
Yeah, give it to me.
This line's moving all over the place right now. It's starting to move back again to the Wizards. It's a fascinating spot. I mean, I now talking it out. Now I feel it here. In saying that, it's moving every minute. It's changing every single minute. This line now, Washington plus 6 is even money.
Oh man, yeah.
Why would that be?
It's moving. Yeah, that's what has me weary here. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't like that I saw Dame out, and then the line moved more in favor of the Bucks. Yeah, I got
11 minutes ago.
Yeah, I got plus
the place we played poker at moved it to 6.5.
Oh man,
it's wild. It's wild stuff. I'm going to wait here a little bit. Yeah, I see Coin says you can see a Wizard plus 6 minus 115. I'm going to wait a little bit. Maybe I should just trust the trepidation that I had initially.
Yeah, I mean that I feel you. I mean, looking at this, like I already took it though, and I'm going to give it out. I still do like it, but I'm not going to lie, it had me backpedaling a little bit. I don't know. I don't like seeing that. And then this line moving around right now makes it more appealing that Dame's out. I mean, do they know Dame wasn't going to play the whole time? I didn't see him on the injury report, but yeah, I don't
know. Wow. Let's move on here. I'm going to sit with this longer here. I spent too much time on it last night anyways. Shout out one more time to our guy, Rez Mob. 30th wedding anniversary. He was at Pubapalooza 2 with his wife. She's beautiful. And playing poker with us. I think she's a teacher, if I remember correctly. But they're such class acts. And shout out to Rezi. It just brings so much to our community. And congratulations on the 30th wedding anniversary, my man. Let's roll on. We get to Ron Crawford's play of the day here with the Toronto Raptors. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Miami Heat 25-28, 12-17 on the road. The Toronto Raptors 17-38, 12-17 at home. Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. I personally don't think Brandon Ingram plays this year. So anybody, I don't think he plays at all this year. I think that this is all about just trying to get him to fit in to the culture that Masai is trying to build with Darko, get him comfortable in Toronto, get him in a nice spot, get him, comfortable in the city. I think this is like kids' gloves. Are you okay? You happy today? Kind of thing with BI. I don't think BI plays this year. Now he could, but he's certainly not going to play in the next month. And then what's the point of bringing him back at the end of the season? Both teams begin their post All-Star break tonight after a rough end of the first half for both teams. Raptors lost 5 of 6 heading into the break. Heat lost 4 straight. Let's get into the line history here. We have the Miami Heat -3, -105. They opened -3.5. Now that was already quite juiced towards the Raptors, but we have a half-point move towards the Raptors. Even the books that put this out at 2 in the afternoon had this at a 3. From a total standpoint, we have a 219 here. This opened up at 221.5. It's dropped 2.5 points to 219. It just dropped to 219 from 222, so it's dropping. When we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 68% of the tickets, 68% of cash on the Raptors, 80 and 72 on the over here. Man Bear Pig has Raptors +5 in his parlay. Says he thinks they win, but he bought 1.5 last night at -140. So the Raptors, well, let's start with the Heat. They bring in Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Davion Mitchell. That was, and then of course they send Butler to the Warriors. Toronto deals Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and Mitchell. And then we bring back Ingram. And again, Darko saying we're not going to be seeing Ingram anytime soon, and I expect never. Pirtle, we were hoping would play in this game. The talk was that he's back, he's practicing, he's feeling good, but he's out. Listed as out. Then you have Jovic as a game time decision. Tyler Hero is a game time decision. So Jovic is sick. He's got a stomach illness. I don't want to get too caught up ever into, there's a sickness going around. That just doesn't work. Hero is listed as probable, so we expect him to be in the lineup. The Raptors are becoming much, much, much more enjoyable to talk about. I am a Brandon Ingram fan, and I'm excited to see him with the boys. Take it away for us, Wine Time. Heat, Raptors.
Yeah, this team's got a good future ahead of them. I think with the young guys that you guys have over there in Toronto next year, Jim, you guys are going to be a pretty good, solid team. I like Brandon Ingram. I think he's going to play really well with them. And like you said, I don't expect to see him play this year. He shouldn't play. The Raptors aren't trying to win this year. They're trying to win in the future. He signed that nice little extension too, Jim, right?
Oh, huge,
yeah,
120 million 3-year extension.
Heck yeah, good for him, man. Good for BI. I love watching him play, man. When he's healthy, man, he's really good, man. He's one of the better scorers in the league. With that being said, though, Miami Heat, man, coming in here, losing 4 games straight, making the trade, getting Butler out of there, getting a couple other guys in there like Wiggins, Mitchell as well. Interesting to see what they're going to do here. I don't know. This is a tough game, Jim, because I don't know. I know how much Miami wants to win. Toronto, they've got a young group in there. And I mean, I'm going to be completely honest, looking at the starting 5, I mean, I'm going to take the Toronto Raptors all day in this spot here. If you ask me, I don't know if I'm going to do it here. I had them circle at the money line plus 130. It's definitely a spot I might end up taking as the day goes on. I want to see where this goes. See if we get more info on Tyler Hero. I didn't expect to see the public coming in as much on the Raptors. I swear a couple hours ago, it was the complete opposite money from what I think, at least. I swear Toronto had like 40% tickets and 45% of the cash, quickly up to 68 and 68. Line's not moving right now. I don't know. This is a tough game, Jim. I want to move on the Raptors on the money line plus 130. I'm not going to do it here, though. I'm not going to force anything yet. I'm going to wait and see what this line does. I definitely like the chances of the Raptors winning. I think they have the better team. They have the home court advantage. It's going to be a Friday night. You know what I mean? People are going to be at the game. They're going to be rocking on. I mean, the Raptors have a good starting 5. They have a team to cheer for. So don't be surprised if the Raptors win this game outright. I might end up moving on this one. There's no way I'm taking the Miami Heat here in this spot. I don't like this Miami Heat team, and I don't even think they're going to make the play-in tournament, if we're being honest.
Wow. I think the break helps the Heat a lot. I think it helps the Heat more than the Raptors. The Raptors are still kind of confused if they're supposed to try to win right now. I imagine the players are going to try to win, but there's still some confusion going on whether or not people want them to win.
Competitive guys over there. I mean, Barnes is a competitor. You know what I mean? Quickly, he's a competitor, man. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm not sure what to do with the spot here. I'm not sure. I'm going to need more time. Let's roll into our next spot on the board. Now, this was interesting. I knew I wanted the Pistons when I was watching the Spurs play so well. So I knew I wanted the Pistons. And I knew that I wanted to back the Pistons coming on the stretch. And so the line was 4.5 at 365. And the Sharpest Offshores hadn't dropped the line yet. So I was going to wait. Let's wait. They opened it at 4.5, but it's heavily juiced towards the Spurs. Within 5 minutes, it's a 4. And then I get the 3.5 at minus 115. I think that's a pretty good number. And then I woke up and it looked like we were going to get a 5. And I was like, okay, that was great. I trusted it and went with it. Now we're right back at 4. This just moved back to 4 19 minutes ago. Opens up at 4.5. As I said, at 12:24 a.m. And I'm sitting on watching it. I'm just staring at the book for 25, 30 minutes, figuring out exactly if my being too quick about this move, wanting to fade the Spurs in the second night in Austin, after De'Aaron Fox lit it up. Then it moved to 4. So it went from 4.5 to 4 in 6 minutes. Then it moved back to 4.5 at 7 in the morning. That 4 got up to minus 118, moved back to 7.5, 4.5, and the 4.5 was juiced minus 113. Then it gets to 5. It gets to 5 at 8:30 more. That's when I think I'm in absolute business. Then it's bouncing back from 4.5, 4.5, whatever. That's what it is. Let's get to the cash flow here. I also understood that the Pistons were going to be a public spot. At least that's what I thought. I wasn't going to let that get in the way of what I thought was a winner. This total has climbed up from 232.5 up to 235.5, a 3-point move towards the over. And then when we get to the cash flow, we have Oh, wow. Pretty even. 53% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on the Pistons. Wow. Okay. That makes me feel a little better. 67 and 76 on the over, and we see it climbing quickly. Justin McKelvey got the Pistons minus 4.5. Nasty Nate liking the Pistons second quarter. Robert Franklin on Beasley over 14.5 points. So Pistons begin their post All-Star break tonight. 15 and 13 on the road. What a good season they've had. Won 4 straight. Playing well. It's the first time since 2009 that Detroit entered the All-Star break with a winning record. That's nuts. 2009. That's how far you have to go back. Spurs coming out in the second half back-to-back after defeating the Suns in impressive fashion last night in Austin. It was their first game after hearing Victor was done for the season. We can't let these pass. I know that we started talking about how weak their defense was going to be without Victor Wembanyama, but every single time when a player's star is out of line, you have to back them. You just have to back them blindly. Your ROI is going to be insane. Don't let anybody talk you off of it. I got talked off of it yesterday. Now, again, if I had have added it, I'd probably add the Clippers too, so I'd probably still lose a little bit of Vig, but I digress. De'Aaron Fox goes for 26, 11 straight in the final 318. I mean, this guy is just Texas strong. He's just going to be a monster down there. Keldon goes for 15. Champagne goes for 15. Chris Paul goes for 13 and 10. I know you've had a lot of success with Chris Paul assist props. Spurs have won 2 of 3. So take it away for us here. I moved on the Pistons minus 3.5, minus 115, or minus 140. I got to remember here in a second. Take it away for us here. One time Pistons Spurs.
Yeah, I initially wanted the Pistons in this one, Jim. I was on the Spurs last night, gave it out kind of last minute. Ended up taking them on the money line, got it done. They played some good basketball. As Wemby was out, I had to take them. I wasn't going to take them before that. Ended up going from a favorite to a dog. Got the plus 125 on them. Played good basketball too. You know what I mean? Inspired basketball. They got some guys out there that can move around fast other than CP3. But he played some pretty good ball yesterday, distributing. He's also shooting the ball well in the first quarter. But going forward, yeah, this is a tough matchup because the Detroit Pistons, this is a playoff basketball team in the East, man. This is a good basketball team. Cade Cunningham leading the way, man. One of the better players in basketball right now. He's really good, man. He can do it all, man. Love watching him play. They got some good role players around him as well that are getting it done. Spurs back-to-back here at home. It is weird because all my books have the -4 now. And Jim, interesting. I refreshed it. The Grizzlies went all the way down to a -3.5. So I'm glad I didn't end up moving on that 4.5 there.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but I refreshed it. Yeah, crazy. That's the NBA though for you guys, man. These lines just it's crazy. It's nuts. But I'm gonna end up staying off this one, Jim. I like where you're going with the Pistons though. Spurs on the back-to-back, getting that big win for them yesterday without Wemby. Might be a little bit difficult today. Detroit Pistons is a prideful basketball team. I think the second half they're going to play prideful basketball. They're going to try to make a good run and actually skip the play-in tournament and get into the playoffs at a 5th seed. See what they can do. We'll see. I don't think this is a team that's going to compete for an NBA Finals, but I do like the direction they're heading in. I like their team. And I made the money with the Spurs last night. I'm not going to take them, and I honestly don't want to fade them here either. So I'm going to end up staying away from this one. But I like where you're going with the Pistons. If free $500 bet, it would definitely be on the Pistons.
Lex says how the Pistons not favored by 8+. I would have put this line at 4.
This seems accurate. I would say 4.5.
And then I would have let the sharps indicate whether I should move it. This didn't surprise me. What surprised me was it going from 4.5 down to almost 3.5 last night. And usually I just stay off those spots, but I was having a great night and I fired away here. So that's it. So that's my NBA action. So now let's see what kind of additions that we roll with here. Move on to 8:30 p.m. Eastern with the New Orleans Pelicans 13 and 42, 4 and 23 on the road. The Dallas Mavericks 30 and 26, 17 and 11 at home at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. This is a wildly difficult cap. Both teams beginning their All-Star break tonight. So no Anthony Davis with the adductor. Now Kyrie Irving was dealing with the shoulder injury. Klay Thompson foot. PJ Washington ankle. Daniel Gafford knee. Derek Lively ankle, amongst others. And they still went 118-113 over the Heat on February 13th. Dante Exum went for 27. Christie went for 19. Shout out to Durrell. He's been hammering those Max Christie props. Dinwiddie goes for 18. Kessler Edwards goes for 15 and 9. That was the 6th start of the season. So we know Davis, Lively, and Gafford are going to be out for at least 2 more weeks. When we go here, we have Lively out, Gafford out, Davis out. Powell is not out. He's likely out. He's improving, but Powell's going to be out. Not that's a big deal now because of all the injuries. Generally, it wouldn't be. And then PJ Washington listed as questionable. He'd missed 6 of the last 7 games with sprained right ankle. So they need him back. They need him back badly. I mean, you take Lively, Gafford, Davis out, and then, God, I mean, what do you do? I mean, you obviously got to play small ball, and if you do, you need PJ Washington out there badly. So it's just a very, very messed up situation. And the Pelicans are sitting here, a healthy group. Healthy group. Let's get into line history, the cash flow, and set it up here for wine time. This total is at 237.5. It's minus 110 to the under. This opened up at 235. We've climbed 2.5 points. We get to the point spread here for this one. We have Dallas minus 5.5. No vig of 5.5, but still, should they be 5.5 points favorites against anybody in the league? Opened up 5.5, got up to 6, back to 5.5, which is where we are right now. So we've had 4 cents of movement towards the Pelicanos. When you get to the cash flow, 61% of the tickets, 61% of cash on the Pelicans, 78 and 78 on the over. And we have the Pelicans. We last saw them in that, 140-133 overtime win on February 13th. They lost 10 straight going into that one. That really angered me that I wasn't on. We talked about how were the Kings going to beat them 3 times in 7 days, and I stayed off of it. McCollum went for 43. Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado, 18 each. Murphy went for 18 with 9 boards and 11 assists. They glow when they talk about what Trey Murphy's doing out there and his relationship with CJ McCollum. Take it away for us here. One-time Pelicanos Mavericks.
Yeah, looking at these teams' records, you would think this would be more than a 5.5. But yeah, Dallas Mavericks out with a lot of their big guys, including Anthony Davis. We're not sure when he's going to come back. A couple more weeks. Crazy. He played so well in that first game. But when he plays that hard, man, he's fragile. He gets hurt. Pelicans, man, they do have a healthy group. Zion's going to be playing Trey Murphy. I love watching Trey Murphy play. Great defender. Good scorer, too, man. The guy can give you 20 any given night. Didn't think he actually had that in him early on in his career. CJ McCollum, we know what he can do. He's a veteran out there. He's going to be playing good basketball. Looking at these rosters, I think looking at both these starting fives, man, I think there's value with the Pelicans. I think they probably have the better starting 5. Question is if Zion can make his shots down low, and if he doesn't make those shots, if he can make his free throws. I've just seen him be abysmal from the free throw line whenever I back the Pelicans. So we'll see about that. Trey Murphy, though, I like what he does out there for him. I would only back the Pelicans here in this spot. I'm not going to take the Dallas Mavericks laying 5.5 points here. It does seem like more of the public is coming in on the Pelicans. Line not really moving too much. Maybe the Mavericks need this win. I mean, if they want to actually make a playoff run, the West is tough right now. They need to keep winning these games. This is a very winnable game for them, even though they don't have their stars. They need this win. They're going to be playing hard. That being said, I'm still not going to take them though. I just don't believe in this group. I think the Pelicans probably have the better starting 5. You're getting 5.5 points in your back pocket, and you're getting a plus 180 on the money line. I would only take the Pelicans here. I'm going to stay clear of this game though. I'm not going to watch this. I have no interest in even watching this basketball game.
The volatility in this game is insane.
Yeah.
I find it very, very difficult to put together a legitimate script. Like the predictive analysis with all the players out with injury, there's going to be an outlier performance, but by whom? It's an extreme. And then, of course, you have the public on the Pelicans. Why wouldn't they be on the Pelicans? Market doesn't seem to be concerned by it. And it's not a huge public spot at 61 and 61, right? That's what I said, 61 and 61.
61.
It's not. Again, we're making predictions here, and when you take all these players out of the lineup, and then the public all sees it, and they're backing the dog here. We've seen the Mavericks overachieve at home, despite who they have on the floor. Why? Clay's happy to be there. He's playing free basketball, and Kyrie is playing really well. And so this is we don't need to hem and haw. Let's roll off. Now, what we can talk about here is the Trill OG play of the day. Trill OG play today is the Houston Rockets first half -2. Now we can't give you the full LJ from H-Town, but we can give you a short little bit from our guy, LJ from H.
Yo. Sports radio's the crew, that's a fact. We all about bread, making bank accounts fat. Who the hell is that? LJ from the H. I stat green like Boston, shout out to Nasty Nate. From down south, where we ride on slab. 420 highway smoking with that boy Gabby Cap. Fly out to Denver for the Nugget fans so we can smoke out J Money, cause you know that's our mans. Us against the bookies, put money in our pockets. Fly out to Vegas, meet up with Ski Profit. Hit the sports books, we got money to stack. Can't forget them college picks with that boy Conor Mack. Call up Dutch boy, cause you know we stay fresh. What's the strain of the day, homie? Watch the daily sesh.
Minus 3.5 for the Houston Rockets right now, minus 102. That's exactly where this opened. LJ made the Trill OG play today. Rockets first half -2. We've had no movement on the Houston Rockets. From a total perspective here, it's 220. We have a 220. It's minus 108 to the under. This has come up from 216. There's no capping quite. It's funny. When we cap horse races, we are, trying to script the race. We predict how it's going to go exactly to a T, and we try to put the pieces all together. And each game is all these different pieces we're trying to put together. Hockey, it's so much. You just know what happened last game. You're like, look, I know what's going to happen out here. It's such an honest sport. Here in basketball, you're trying to piece all the puzzle together. Who's out? Who you think might be out? Where's the money? I mean, it's the closest to kind of forming a horse race NBA. It's just, and it's extremely fun, but it takes so much time, and sometimes it's too much. You're just like, oh God, I don't know who's going to be. I don't know what the hell's going to happen here. This Rockets team going up against this Timberwolves team, all of a sudden, Ant Edwards is day-to-day. He withdraws late from the All-Star game with groin tightness. You have Rudy Gobert with the back injury, Conley with the finger injury, questionable. You have Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle both out in street clothes. So here we have to go through now. Do we think Rudy Gobert with the back injury is going to be in the lineup? He's listed as questionable. So, okay, I guess you can have some faith that, he healed over the All-Star break. The same with Ant Edwards. You have to think he just needed a break, needed a break. Wanted to bang some IG models, so he takes, says he's got groin tightness. He's probably going to be in there. You have Mike Conley, who hasn't played in 4 straight games. I mean, he's not much, 37 years old anyways right now when he's in the lineup. Do expect him to be out there. And then you have a Houston Rockets team that doesn't have Van Fleet. We know that he is a very, very intelligent game manager, and instead of Van Fleet at point guard, we're going to have Aaron Holiday. Now, Aaron Holiday can score. No one's ever questioned whether Aaron Holiday can put the ball in the hoop. It's, can he run an offense? Can he distribute the ball to the players in the right times, in the right situations? Can he control the pace of the game, slow it down when it's needed, speed up when it's needed? That's been his problem. That's always been his problem, and that's why he's been passed around the whole NBA. This is tricky. This is a tricky spot here. Let's get into the line history. We did the total. We did the spread. Let's talk about the cash. From a cash flow perspective here, just 25% of the tickets and 24% of cash on the Houston Rockets. 86 and 87 is on the over. I don't understand why the public doesn't want the Rockets here. The Timberwolves, I mean, it's funny. They seem to be a little more accountable on the road than they've been at home this year. But I don't know how we could trust them at all. Now, you could say, look at Naz Reid. I mean, he went for 27, 14, and 7 in this last game. He's playing well. And the Rockets are on the first of a back-to-back. They travel to Utah after the game. So, you have Alperen Sengun you can trust. You have Jalen Green. You know he's going to score points. You know Sengun's going to get boards. But what else can you trust? This is a tricky one time. Can you make sense of it all? Wolves, Rockets at Toyota Center.
I originally circled the Timberwolves money line in this spot here. Just this line's kind of going out at a plus 3.5 now. Not really sure who's going to play in this one. I hate fading the Houston Rockets at home, but it's just this line. What are we at right here? Minus 3.5. Let me refresh my thing. Let me get this is a tough game, Jim. I mean, laying a -3. You mentioned Freddie Van Fleet out. He's a great game time manager. You touched on that already. Holiday, we'll see what he can do out there with the rest of the group. Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, you're saying Ant Edwards might not play today, Jim? Is he on the injury report?
No, well, yeah, he's questionable. He has to be, right? Because he skipped the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's crazy. I want nothing to do in this game. This is the ESPN game too, and there's just so many question marks in this game. Looking at this game last night, I wanted the Timberwolves. Looking at this morning, I wanted the Timberwolves. It went down to a +2.5. Now we're at a 3.5. It's just lines kind of going everywhere right now. Doesn't really make sense to me. I don't want to force.
8:30 this morning, one time. 8:30 this morning. This was a 5 at Will Hill.
Wow.
And that had come up from 4, which initially dropped to 3.5 at 1 in the morning. Will Hill moves this to 5. You're right. This was a 2.5. This was a 2.5 an hour and a half ago.
Right before I got on here. It's crazy.
This is. I almost want to say it's above my pay grade. Like I'm gonna have to sit with this for a lot longer and kind of put the pieces together in the puzzle, because I want the Rockets. I want the Rockets. I don't know what you're going to get from the Timberwolves. I'm not sorry. I'm not going to just sit here and hem and haw, but let's roll on. Let's head over to Salt Lake City, Utah, the Delta Center. This is an uneventful game, except for Cody Williams getting a chance to play against his big bro, Jalen Williams. That's what everyone's excited about. Cody Williams, 10th overall pick in the draft. Spent most of the season with Salt Lake City Stars. So now he gets to play up against his brother, Jalen. And they haven't played a lot together, which is strange, as siblings. So the families are very excited. That's the whole thing here. Oklahoma City -15.5 here. And I believe, was it your lone loss on your 9-1 day was the Thunder -19?
I think it was the Thunder -19, and that was the game, I think, I believe it was. And that was the game, too, where I said I just wanted to sit back and watch and not even pay attention, and they couldn't get it done. So, yeah, I couldn't happen.
It was against the Raptors here. But look, I get it. Like, I've seen how they have taken care of business, taking care of these big spreads. And here, they'll be playing for Jalen. That wasn't the lone loss. When one time went 9-1 9 days ago, it was the Spurs +8.5. He opened with the loss, and then he swept the board. 8-1. Did I say 9-1? 8-1 that day, but still spectacular. Is that really? I thought it was 9-1. 8-1. But let's roll on here. We have the Thunder opening up at -15 and now -15.5. Let's get to the total here for this one. From a total perspective, we have a 234.5. It's -109 to the under. This opened up at 236. It's now 234.5. Let's get to the cash flow. Turnsy, it's seniors night for the Mercy, and Spooner's on them. Spooner's on them full game. I was kind of looking at the other way first half, but Spooner is on them. So you guys are in business. Okay. Let's grab the cash flow here for this one. Just 28% of tickets and 32% of cash on the Thunder. Interesting. I didn't expect that. 80 and 73 on the over. Why would the public be expecting the Jazz to deliver? Now, this team's 6-19 at home. I don't get why anyone would expect them to deliver here. It makes no sense. The Thunder beginning their post-All-Star break tonight. Jazz are on the first of a no-travel back-to-back. They host the Rockets tomorrow night. They lost 4 or 5, before the break. They did get that 120-116 overtime loss to the Clippers. They were up by 20 in that spot. Man Bear Pig says Clarkson and Markkanen are healthy. Let's just take a quick look at the questionables here. Sexton is out. You've been really good with the Jazz this year. Do you have any interest in them here? And are you surprised that they're a public home dog?
I am quite surprised. Yeah, I've been on them. I've been successful taking the Jazz this year. This isn't a spot I would get involved in at the +15 though at home. We're seeing the public come in and hammer him right now. And the line did, open up at a 16.5 down to a 15.5. I'm not sure where this is going to really go. If it gets back up to a 16.5, Who knows, man? I haven't watched a lot of Thunder basketball, which is crazy because one of the better teams in the league. I think it's just because a lot of their games are blowouts, and I don't have money on them, so I don't end up watching them. Utah Jazz, I like watching JC out there play. I like them against the LA teams a lot of the time, just because I feel like he always does well against them. But this spot right here, OKC, man, they could put their foot on the gas pedal and not stop here. If they want to make a run this season, maybe they make it. I mean, the Jazz aren't a good team. They could beat these guys, name their number against them. I'm not sure if they will. Definitely going to win this game. I'm going to have nothing to do with this one, though, Jim. I'm going to stay on the sidelines in this one because I don't want to. If I'm going to take a game, I want to watch it. And this is a game I probably wouldn't watch. So I'm going to stay away from this one.
The Thunder give such workmanlike efforts, like the Cavaliers. I'm surprised to see the public here on the Jazz. I think that the Thunder can take care of business. I wonder if we should grab Jalen Williams props, honestly, if they're gonna everyone knows his whole family's gonna be in the stands. Everybody, and you know what kind of a team the Thunder are. They care about each other. Then the problem is, what happens if the Thunder are up 25? They still play. Now it helps sometimes when Shea's going for 50, but it doesn't stop anything. Now, do we think the Thunder are upset about that loss at Minnesota? I don't think so. I think that's kind of washed away from the All-Star break.
Yeah, you can get Jalen Williams props over 19.5, a little bit juicy at -120, -125. You think he's going to get 20 points in this one?
Yes, I think he will with his family watching. I think they're going to feed him the ball. They're going to feed him the ball all game long.
I think he could do it too.
Let's just see what I'm getting here. Yeah, 19.5 to pick him. I think Jalen has a monster night. No, I don't think I'm not saying he's going to go 13 of 16 from the field, but they're going to keep feeding him the ball. They're just going to keep feeding him the ball here with his fan. They're just such a team. They've built such a team environment here. Not flush looking at the Jazz props on the overs. I think that maybe Ron Lofton has it right. Going to see if he can get on OKC Live. I think it does help the break with the bad teams. And I know that we talked about the angles and the success against the spread that winning teams have after the break because they're focused and ready to go. But I think it's nice for losing teams to get that break, although the numbers don't really reflect that. You know what? I think Jalen Williams has a night tonight, and I have interest at this point on the Thunder. And if we sit here, in 6 hours, and the public's still all over the Jazz and this number's not moving, or in fact, if it moves a half point to the Thunder, I'll be interested in the Thunder full game. I won't take them first half. I've learned that lesson. You want, 48 minutes with this workmanlike effort that the Thunder seem to deliver. But Jalen Williams over 19.5 points. That's going to be on the card here. All right, let's roll on to our final spot on the board here. Thank you guys for rocking with us on Pub Sports Radio, the hottest capper on the channel right now, sitting across from me, Wine Time Sports. Golden State Warriors 28-27, 13-14 on the road. Sacramento Kings 28-27, 14-13 at home at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. Everybody just gushing about Jimmy Butler and what he's doing for the Warriors. And it's really simple. The Warriors don't go into the dirty areas. Now, Draymond Green does, but he doesn't play every game. So what you have is Steph Curry taking shots from the outside. Kuminga, when he's healthy, isn't really a guy who's going to put his shoulder through someone's chest. So what happens is they never get to the line. In 4 games with Jimmy Butler on the Warriors, they now get to the line 7.1 more times a game. Because Butler goes into the dirty areas. It just shows, I don't want to say the negative things in my head that I'm thinking about the Warriors, but this was a fucking soft basketball team. And now Butler's changed that. He's changed that. Let's get into the line history here. This total's at 236. It's juiced to the over at -110. You had 3 cents. Oh, it's gone up a point and 3 cents, or up a half point, 3 cents to the over. Fuck. Up a half point and 3 cents to the over. Then we'll get to the point spread here. From a point spread scenario with Golden State -2, -107. They opened up -2 at -105. This got up to 3. It's back at 2 here. I don't really want to trust the Warriors here on the road. 43% of tickets, 46% of cash is on the Warriors. So it is probably sharp action that's moving it towards the Warriors. So they're 3-1. All these games have been on the road. We haven't had Jimmy Butler make his debut in San Francisco yet. He's averaging 21.37 boards, 5.3 assists per game. The Kings have Zach LaVine now on their team. It's changed so drastically here. So you don't have Herter, you don't have De'Aaron Fox. You bring in Zach LaVine. Now, he didn't look very good in his first couple games. He had 17.5 points, 2.5 boards in his first 2 games. The last 4 games, though, they've won 3 of 4, and he's averaging 23.5 and 6.5 assists. He's coming off his best game with the Kings, 32 points and 10 assists in a loss, though. It's a loss. Saturate says one of these teams play defense. Take it away for us here at Wine Time. Warriors, Kings, do you find an edge or an angle here?
Yeah, this is a game I kind of want to take the Golden State Warriors in, if we're being completely honest here. Zach LaVine starting to find his shot a little bit. When he first got there, he couldn't really knock down a three-pointer. I think he made like 2 threes in his first 3 or 4 games. And he just started going quiet from the floor, started passing the ball a little bit more. Last couple of games, has been scoring the ball. I believe this is both these first teams back after the All-Star break. You know what? I think I want to be on the Warriors here at the -2.5. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up getting there. I kind of want to look at some Zach LaVine props too, because I think this is a high total. I think it's a high total for a reason. I think this is going to be a very high scoring Friday night type game where all these players are going to most likely get off here. You can even look at Curry props. I think his is at 26.5. LaVine, I mean, I think I see his right now at over, over 23.5 -121, a little bit juicy. But that's what he's been doing the last couple of games. So I might take a look at that, and I might get on the Warriors here in this spot. I like that they got Jimmy Butler. I think this team is more tough here. He's going to get to the line. He's going to knock down those free throws. He's going to do the dirty work for you down low. He just wants you to play hard, and he wants you to make the open shots when you get open, which Curry can absolutely do. And he's got shooters around him too. I know I talked shit on that guy, Braden Podolsky, but he could also knock down the 3 ball when he gets hot. They've got some guys that can put the ball in the bucket. I want to be on the Warriors here in this spot. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up getting there, though, Jim. We'll see. A lot of these spots are just spots I think I'm going to have to like sit on these next couple hours until tip-off, end up tweeting them out. Just because there's so much. I'm just keep refreshing the book, and just everything's just moving back and forth right now. It's crazy. NBA gets wild like that, but today's just feels like a little bit different, and it's making me a little trepidatious. So we'll see here. I want to move on the Warriors, and I want to move on LaVine props and potentially Curry props too, because I think if the Warriors do get this dub, Curry's going to have himself a night here. He's going to get going here this second half. They want to win. They want to win now. You heard Draymond talk about that at the All-Star break, saying that like this is the time now, like to win with the team they have. They're going to really try to give their full effort. We'll see here tonight how they look here against a Kings team that's also trying to make a run at the playoffs. This team's right around 500. We'll see what they did. They made trades at the deadline to get their guy LaVine. We'll see if it ends up working out for them. They've got all kinds of guys that can score the bucket, though. Sabonis, Monk, Murray. They've got good guys over there. So we'll see. I definitely think this is going to be a higher scoring game as well. We'll see. What did this line open up for the total, Jim? 234.5, 235?
I thought it was just a slight move. Let me move back there. We have the total even at 2 in the afternoon opened at 236. Here it opened at 235.5 at 10:42 p.m. and immediately went down to 234. Then it started this climb, and the climb went all the way to 237, and now it's at 236.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from the total, but I do think that this could get over the total here. I want to take the Warriors here in this spot. I don't know if I'm going to end up getting there. I'm going to wait the next couple hours and sit over this and see what happens. But as of right now, it's a pass, but it's a strong lean. And you guys follow me on X, make sure I'll be tweeting this out, give you guys a warning at least an hour before tip off. But I'm going to stay away from this one for now. It's tough.
Nutplush Allen says the spot about Jalen says you've uncovered the mystery. You said they're going to keep feeding him the ball. Assist props on OKC, low hanging fruit. Assist props feeding Jalen. This is a really tricky card. Wow, I didn't expect that. I'm happy I came in with 2 bets. Right now, I'm very interested in the Wizards, but I want that to marinate. And then I now maybe it's a mistake for me to leave the Grizzlies off my card. I respect. I think the Magic are going to be a wagon. I think they're going to be a wagon. I think we bet them and bet them. If the market's using their season-long stats to put the numbers in place for us to bet, I think we can take advantage of it. In saying that, look, I'm not going to fade the Grizzlies off of a 14-point loss, and I'm on job props, and that's moved against me 5 cents. I can't explain that shit, but I don't care. So I've got the Pistons minus 3.5. That cost me 5 cents. I'm interested in the Wizards. I'm going to bet the Jalen Williams prop right now, as soon as we're done this. WY says no Suggs is big. Yes, it's big. It's big. But this is a team that wants to look. Wagner has that hymn, the hymnothy. And so does Banchero. I know that Ja has it too, and Bane is a very good shooter, but I don't trust the Grizzlies on the road. I watched them drop the look. I bet the Pacers. I wasn't betting on the Pacers. I was saying, okay, the Grizzlies off of a break, Ja off a break, Ja after getting his $1 million worth of shit robbed from him. I was like, meh. I don't know. What a fascinating NBA card. Let's review here action from a wine time here, because we have wine time on the Wizards money line and pool over 22.5 points. Ron Crawford NBA play today is on the Raptors. LJ from H-Town Trilogy play today's Rockets first half -2. And then so it's those 2 spots that you're on wine time. We're going to wait and see what you add.
Yeah, guys, there's a lot of spots that I might end. 2-game card right now. I might end up being a 6 or 7 game. There's a couple spots that I didn't like the Grizzlies. We'll see here. I don't know. I'm still staring at it right now. -3.5. Cleveland Cavaliers is a spot, guys. I will most likely be on. I'm almost 100% guaranteed. It's still at 8.5. I might just take the 8.5 now, because if it gets to a 9, it might get to a 9. We'll see. I don't know though. That's a spot I really like. Another one I was thinking about taking here, Warriors -2.5. I think those are the 2 games I'm going to for sure be on. I'm going to take a second look at the Timberwolves Rockets game, and also the Raptors Heat, because I did want to be on the Raptors in that spot. I'm not sure if I still am though, but most likely we'll be on the Warriors and the Rockets tonight, guys.
Stay hot, wine time. We need it. Our families need it.
Let's go.
We need it. We need it, man. Great capping with you as always, my man. Oh, let's get Wine Time back on. Please support our guy Wine Time on X. I'm going to pop both Morgan and Wine Time's X info here. Please click on it and support our guys. Wine Time, I can't believe how soon we're going to be chilling in San Antonio. So soon. Thank you for all that you do for all of us and the community, my man. Here is a Wine Time's link. Please support our guy. Wine Time, any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Yeah, Jim, always a good time doing the show with you, man. Good luck to you. Good luck to everyone in the chat. We're going to be on the starting 5 tomorrow, so be sure to tune in that 7:45 Pacific Standard Time. Going to be a good time. And yeah, let's keep this going in the NBA, man. It's been a nice season. We're running hot. I just want to keep it going though. The action is a little bit lighter today compared to other days, and I didn't plan for that. I planned to came on here and make more, but as I'm refreshing the page, it just not a lot I like as much. So we'll see as the day goes on, but appreciate you for having me, Jim. Can't wait to kick it with you in San Antonio and the rest of the crew here in 4 weeks for March Madness, man. I'm looking forward to it. But we'll be talking, Jim. Appreciate you, my guy.
Respect, my man. There he is. Wine Time Sports. There's PSR Pub-Up Palooza. Let's get Jose back in business here. Jose, my friend, and let's race. Looks like we got Greyhounds. Is that true, Jose? How are you, buddy?
Good. Chaotic day, but good. Would you want my spring training play of the day now or later?
Now, right now.
I officially moved on one play today. Bet it. Line movement, the whole thing. Very interesting. It was a little bit of a pain in the Pavilion to try to find out who's pitching today for the Kansas City Royals, but I am fading those Kansas City Royals. I'm on the Texas Rangers -110 full game money line for those interested. Opened up Royals -125. And by the way, it's Daniel Lynch the fourth or whatever his numbers are versus my guy Nasty Nate Evaldi here. Opened up -125. Royals now on the place where you used to play poker. It's -120. Rangers. Like I said, they posted, or one of the beat writers for the Royals posted who's pitching today. We're getting Daniel Lynch for 2, Noah Cameron for 2, AAA arm, Angel Zerpa, Clark Cruz 6, and Cox, Austin Cox maybe. That is not a pitching lineup that I am scared of. I will take the Rangers today, full game money line, and they get the job done and get the win.
Is this an official bet? Is this your first?
I mean, yeah, I don't, I bet it officially. Like there's money put down on it, but who cares about spring training records as long as it makes money for us. But this is, we're all in spring training here. Make your bets as you at your leisure, but it's a bet for me officially.
Well, it's exciting. I think you should track your preseason.
Yeah, I'm tracking it for sure, like to see how well I do for sure. So
Rick Jace has been thinking about cutting off first 5 totals. In fact, Rick, I'm now actually legitimately really excited. It's been holding me back. It's been holding me back my whole career, and yet I still keep doing it. I have the proof that it's holding me back, and yet I still keep betting it. And so this has added a very interesting caveat for me. Will there be an MLB Future show? Well, that is your department, Jose. Will there be an MLB Future show?
I don't think so. I typically don't make too many futures. I learned after the first year that, making the futures isn't kind of like where I want to be. That being said, I have put in my Red Sox futures. I mean, come on. This is the highest I've been on the Red Sox since we started betting live publicly here. I feel very good about them. I think their team's going to be very good this year. I have them to win the AL East +390. I have them to win the American League plus, let me tell you right now, and obviously you guys know me at this point, but +950. I bet them over 86.5 wins, -110 there. I think they get 90 wins. But yeah, I'm all over the Red Sox this year. I think they have a really good year, if I'm being honest.
You know what, Mr. Belvedere, I'll pull it out. I'll pull out all the info and we'll go over it. I'll pull it all out because Jose sent me his. I haven't sent him mine. So I mean, Jose has a huge season if he cuts out first 5s, and it's been affecting me every year. I don't know why I'm such a bullheaded. I just keep smashing my head against the wall, wondering why I'm bleeding. I'm gonna fix it this year. Simply, Mr. Belvedere, simply eliminating it from my cap. I have a monster season this year or last year. I mean, it's just nuts. It's fucking bananas. I mean, why do I keep doing it? Why do I think I've got an edge on these first 5 unders? So simply eliminating it, it also makes me really excited. I'll bring out the exact numbers here shortly. Jose, we must race here. We must race. I've got to go pick up Ella, and as I said, I've been missing it. And Carter caught the flu. We just got over COVID, and he got sick last night. So my wife can't go, so I have to go here. So let me just Jose's going to take us home here. I've got to run, but let me review action here. And I didn't send it. Spooner's action. I got to do that. Spooner. Well, we'll go over all action. I am on Iona -3. Spooner on Manhattan +3.5. We're going heads up in that one. Then I'm on Cornell first half +5.5. I may add that team total over that Nut Flush is on. I'm on Princeton first half -4. I'm on Pennsylvania money line. I'm going up against Billy Friedrich, who's on Dartmouth money line. Spooner's on Detroit Mercy +9. I'm very interested in Cleveland State first half still. Spooner's on Northern Kentucky +3. I'm still interested in Wright State first half. Then I'm going to move on Niagara. I may move on St. Peter's. I expect to move on Sacred Heart, but I want that line to come back a little bit. I'm interested in the Bronx. I have some interest in Canisius first half. It's just moved too far right now, but I expect it to move back. DC Capra on Sacred Heart and Niagara. He's also on that Cornell over. Billy Friedrich, Pig Milk, UFC Play Days, Kudaleba at plus 155. Spooners on Michigan State money line. And I've got some more additions to make. Cornell and Villanova for Justin McKelvey. Free bands Play Days, Grizzlies minus 2.5. BJ's best bets on Villanova as well. So there we go. Jose, my friend, take us home with the Greyhounds. I'm sorry I can't rock with you guys here any longer. I am going to bet this Jalen Williams, though. I'm going to sit here and bet it. And then I'm going to go pick up. I got to get that in. I think that number is going to go up. I think that angle makes sense. Jose, thank you for all that you do, my friend. I will be in touch with you throughout the weekend. So you are in good hands. Thank you to everybody in the chat, man. We have nothing without you. Justin McKelvey, Kelly McKinnis, Philly Eagle Flyer, Dougie Wise, Joseph Alvarado, Mr. Belvedere, Andrew G, Nut Flush, Allen, Zoe, Big Zoe, Irish King, Textiles, Man Bear Pig, Chase J, Rick J, Wager Detective, MCs, Mug Mean. Thank you guys all so much. Lil Domo, shout out to Chill Will. Respect to all of you guys. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. Crip Key, getting that cash. Robert Franklin, all of you guys. We have nothing without you. Thank you so much. I got to go pick up Little Ella Ola. Aaron Malavo, thank you for joining us here from Manila. Much respect. Voodoo Ranger says, would you ever consider a beer money bet on Williams' first points at plus 800? If I was with you guys, if we were in San Antonio, sure. I would put, $25, $50 on it for some fun, but not alone with my great fear of NBA. No, I wouldn't bother that. If we were if we were in Vegas in there, yes, I would do that for some fun. Much respect, you guys. I'll be in touch. Man, Bill, Pig, Jim Rome's a douche. All you guys, we have nothing without you. Thank you so much. Jose, have a great Greyhound race, my friend. Have a great race.
Thank you.
Respect.
I will. Good luck. Tell we said hello, Jimmy, and good luck with the traffic.
No traffic. Respect.
I will see you guys then. All right. Well, beautiful work, everyone. Let's race some Greyhounds. It's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch these puppies fly. And old Jimmy the Bag gets the number one pole there at the bottom. Let's get racing. It's a beautiful day here. Is that Johnny Guns up there in the lead? Nutflush Allen all up there in the mix. Justin McKelvey in there as well. 47 seconds left. Chase J takes the lead. The number 4 dog in there. And that is a white, beautiful dog there up in the lead. Justin McKelvey right behind him. Nuke Worker in the mix there. What is going to happen? We have 30 seconds to glory. 30 seconds to become $50 richer. Who can do it? Who is going to claim this prize and then promptly put it on the Texas Rangers to double your money? Justin McKelvey falling back in Res Mob. Can he do it on his 30th anniversary? Big O charging from the back there. K Wolf takes the lead here. Nate Dogg, Dabby Cobb in the mix. Is Dabby Cobb gonna do it? Oh my word! Dabby Cab takes home the cheddar. Dabby Cab, congratulations to you wherever you are. Nasty Nate, your dog back there in the pack. It's a sad sight to see. Nasty Nate, your dog ends up in 41st there, but it's nice to see you, Nasty Nate. And Jimmy just needs to come in here and laugh at your pain, Nasty Nate. Remember that at Pubapalooza. Remember that. But thank you to all the gold members here, the 79 proud there. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the backbone of the channel here, and we need you guys. So thank you all. Beautiful race there. The weather was beautiful and a short little 3 hours and 43-minute piece there. So shout out to all you guys. Joseph Alvarado, old Zoe there, Zoe, Man Bear Pig, Kelly McKinnis, Kripke, Nasty Nate, who I'm excited to see Nasty Nate, at Pubapalooza. That'll be a whole lot of fun. Very excited. Nasty Nate, get your Red Sox futures in now. Man Bear Pig, Dougie Wise, my guy Justin, Lil Domo, nice to see you, Lil Domo. Hopefully, I believe you're already locked in for Pubapalooza as well. Thank you all. It's going to be fun.
shit.
There you go. Bye, Jimmy. We'll see you later.
Got my action in. Over 19.5 points. Jalen Williams minus 115.
There we go. See ya later, Jimmy. It's funny. Spoons, I'm ready to cap this baseball. It's going to be a whole lot of fun there in here as well. And yes, Nathan, write it down because it's going to be very funny here. So beautiful. Lil Domo's locked in. So that's great. Nice to see that. But let's do it, guys. Big day of sports coming up. I've got this baseball bet I'm about to go watch here. It's going to be great. And I got a lot of capping to do for the weekend. So hit the like button while you guys are here. Say hey to us on social media. And Turnsy, I agree. If I don't win that bet, I'm not eating today either. Mr. Turnsy, I agree. So let's go. Good luck, everyone. Let's get some money today, and let's fucking milk these bookies for all they're worth. You guys know what it is at this point. Let's Alos bookmakers milk that shit.